Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Today's Music of the Night, a series on swamp stock tutorial. It's going to be part 4. Part 4 of the tutorial series is going to be kind of boring, but maybe interesting to some people. It's mostly for my own purposes and for anybody interested in actual stock prices. I'm going to go through all the stocks I've been talking about and predict what direction they're going, whether they're swamps or not. Specifically for Dow, I want to mention which stocks are probably too swampy to be on the Dow and should be removed from the Dow going forward, but we'll see. And I'm just going to go through stock by stock, so this is going to be boring for some of you. And I'm going to start with the Dow, then I'm going to do the media swamp stocks, and then if I have time, and if it's not, it looks like it's not called a part of the series unless it's an hour long. So this is going to be at least an hour long, okay? But that's that. It feels like it. So I'm going to start with, I ordered the Dow stocks. I think I did this the other day. What is this? The Dow stocks on 11/28. Yeah, I did this in the tutorial. I actually ordered this. I haven't been doing my usual. It just takes so long. I don't do this every day anymore. I don't get the daily stock graphs and screenshot them and put them up, and I don't collect the daily prices anymore and put them on in my Excel files. So this is from 11/28. I didn't do 11/29 yet. I'm probably not going to. In fact, I'm probably not going to be looking at another stock. As soon as I finish this series and I'm done with these tutorials, I'm probably not going to look at another stock for a few months. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm at the end of the stock stuff, I'm going to do other tutorials maybe, and yeah, so that's it. So I'm done with recording everything. So Intel, see, I ordered them according to price, from highest price United Health to Intel is down here at $28, and I'm going to go through in this order: Intel, Verizon, up. I'm going to go up the chain here, and then I'm going to do, and then I wanted to mention, I've mentioned about a lot of gay. I have a gay, not gay file. I have an impeccable gaydar that I've developed over the years. And it's easy for me to cite something like this on Twitter. It's just hard for me to put it on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you try to find all the comments that somebody has made in their account, you can't. So I don't know, that's to help YouTube allow spam, fake accounts to do certain things, spam, like spam people and fake accounts and things like that. Because if you have a fake account and you go to that person and look at all the comments they've made, you could tell that it's a fake account just from the comments they're making. And you can't do that right now at YouTube. So you can't, if I say go to my YouTube account and I have a link to this document or a link to this on my account somewhere, it's impossible. I have to mention this specific video that I commented on, and it's very hard to find. Or maybe I do have maybe on my homepage I might have a link to this. I have a link to a lot of my websites, a lot of good websites there somewhere on my homepage. It's true, but not in my comments. And I think this is in my comments somewhere. So here's the link to it right here. It's in my document file. It's an open whatever. It's on my personal Google Drive. That's the only way I could do it right now. It's called shared filing system on Google. And it has everybody who's gay. You can see them if you want to stop this. And it used to be all people on the news, people in politics that I used to just, as soon as I see them I have to see them on a video. I have to see them up and see them, interacting and talking. And I could tell pretty much. There's some trannies on here. Recently, I started putting trannies up. Transitioning women transitioned women. And here's the not gay list. I have a lot of people that I've determined were not gay, and they could be gay, and I just don't have it. Usually if I'm wrong in the other direction. But it's not gay list. And, it's very interesting, like, for a while, anyway, it's just an interesting list. And I haven't been putting any stars on there, any celebrities, until just recently. And I kind of hate doing that, but you have to do it. Like Judd Apatow, the nicest person on the planet. When he's interacting with Kelly, he's funny, he's sweet, and I just hate doing it. But it's just so many people. Kelly is surrounded by so many gay men. And a lot of the people coming on her show, like, they're screened for being gay almost, and closeted. And so I just decided I'm not going to try to decide who's nice, who isn't, who is whatever. I'm just, if they come on her show and they're gay, I'm putting them up here. And another big example I put on here. So they're not very many celebrities, but I'm just starting to put them up recently. And I just recently put up, I guess, Ryan Reynolds. He's gay. And, there's a history there too. Like, when I was trucking around, like even just 4 or 5 years ago, when Deadpool first came out, he smoked in it in the opening scene. He's smoking in it. So he's tobacco. And I don't know if he's purposely tobacco. He must know it. I mean, a lot of gay men in the movie industry are just tobacco swamp, either acting or pushing it, advertising it, and it just so that's why another reason. And there's a lot of Judd Apatow movies, I think, with smoking in it too. I'm not sure, but so the Deadpool one was just a dead giveaway. The dude is gay, closeted gay, and he's opening scene of Deadpool. And a lot of kids are going to see Deadpool, and this is why it's a big advertising. But after that, I was attacking a lot of 7-Eleven stores, had huge Marlboro symbol ads right on their front doors and at the lower level. I mean, I went through this on Twitter. There's a whole thing on this. Like, I did this against Chevron, 7-Eleven, a lot of places, especially oil companies. And that's why I think all the oil companies are going to be tanking lately, by the way, because I made like a theory that said that if a company or a stock has at least involvement with two different swamps, like tobacco and defense contractor, or in the entertainment industry, it's mostly tobacco, and then they went to pharmaceutical, they're going to tank really bad and go out of business. If they have two different swamps supporting them, or they switch from one swamp to the other, and their current stock prices are below their March 2020 lows, I just gave up on trying to figure out what's going on with them. I said they're going out of business. So they are either going to go bankrupt or they're going to be spun off somehow. And because that's the trick lately, like for CNN and Fox, they've already been spun off. So I'm not even going to predict what their prices, maybe I'll predict what their prices are going to be, but I'm saying they're going bankrupt already. And I'm not going to, So my prediction for a lot of the media swamp stocks that are in this position, Comcast, for instance, I predict over the next year or two, they're going to be just spun off into another company so that they can go die in peace and not bring down the entire Comcast, the entire Disney. They're going to spin off their entertainment or streaming, because these are all swamp areas. Okay. So that's that. I'll go through that a little bit more, but I just wanted to mention Deadpool, there was smoking in the opening scene, and then every 7-Eleven suddenly. So, by the way, there is a federal law. It was signed into law by Obama in 2009. It's one of the first things he signed when he came into office, right? And you would think, wow, it's called the it's the Family Protection Against Smoking Act, which it does the opposite, because Obama is Marlboro Obama. They put him into office. He smoked cigarettes in office, which was a big deal. On purpose, every once in a while. I mean, he probably quit smoking, but every once in a while there'd be a picture of him on purpose smoking a cigarette. That was a huge advertisement, especially to blacks, for smoking, and kids. So not only did he personally advertise smoking Marlboros, but he signed something called, it's just like the there's another thing that was signed. But it's a law that says you can't advertise cigarettes at the point of sale where there's going to be kids, especially. It's protecting kids, quote unquote. And all it's doing is, what it did was it protected all the... there's a monopoly on cigarettes by Marlboro and like 3 or 4 companies, which, by the way, have been spun off recently because they are going out of business. When Trump was in office, a lot of them were spun off, so the Marlboro's the only one, Altria, that hasn't been spun off yet. So I can't tell the stock prices of anything going forward. I have to see the full stock chart from way back, from the beginning, to be able to predict the prices going forward. And I can't do it for a lot of the American tobacco companies, because they've all been spun off, and I think it's because they're all going out of business. So Altria might be the next one to spin off, though I'm not sure what they're going to spin off into. Oh, it did spin off. It did break up, I think, recently to Marlboro International, something, whatever. So, but the thing about that is he came in, it was called, you can't advertise, it was a bill that says it's illegal to advertise in print certain cigarettes and everything like that, and yet every single store, everybody was doing it for Marlboro, and I pointed it out. It was Walmart had huge Marlboro ads right at the point of sale. Target wasn't selling cigarettes, so I love Target for that. That's why I work for them. But I found out they're selling cigarettes in a different manner, which is in the music that's playing in their store. But okay, let's not do that. Let's do the point of sale, which thank God Walmart has finally abruptly stopped after years of me hassling them. I'd go on Twitter, I'd go across the country, I would see which stores had advertising for cigarettes, and it was mostly Walmart in I think I did every state across the country at one point, when I was doing every state across the country for the mask mandates. I also went in and saw every Walmart, except like New York City, I think was fantastic because they seriously didn't allow advertisements in any place that also sold pharmaceuticals. It was strictly not allowed. So only the Walmarts in New York State, and I think Pennsylvania, I forget what state, but there was a state, and that's because certain companies are pharmaceutical swamp or tobacco swamp. Well, even states could be, and New York is a pharmaceutical swamp state, so of course they're going to compete, and they're going to make and San Francisco City is a pharmaceutical city because that's Nancy Pelosi's city. So there aren't any cigarette advertisements at point of sales in. So a lot of times the swamps will compete with each other, and then there'll be reasonable laws. But the reason there's a reasonable law in New York State that says you can't advertise cigarettes where there are pharmaceuticals being advertised is because it's a pharmaceutical state. So they'll have special pharmaceutical breaks, and of course, these states like New York was one of the biggest ones to pretend to give in to the fake emergency. I don't even need to tell you, some of these states. Anyway, so just to get to the point, this is going to be long. It's going to be over an hour. But so Deadpool, if you look at if you go across the country, even now, I believe, you walk into any corner gas station, and there will be Marlboro and all sorts of cigarette ads all over the door. There'll be huge cigarette ads at the point of sale. This was happening at Walgreens, and this is how I know it's both a tobacco swamp and a pharmaceutical swamp, is Walgreens did this more than anybody. Huge Marlboro ads at every point of sale. And they're also selling the cigarettes right there. There'll be huge displays. Dollar General, which is involved in all sorts of swampy, like when you have a welfare, an EBT card, food stamp cards, you're not allowed to buy cigarettes with those. But at Dollar General, I'm sure they're doing that. They do that mostly they'll do that if you see a lot of like Indian tribe casinos and things like that. The Indian tribe people make a lot of money from the tobacco swamp by advertising, by allowing them to buy cigarettes with food stamp money. It's illegal, but they're allowed to do it, especially under Obama. See, this is what, like the laws aren't enforced. They're enforced very strictly for marijuana. But if you're a young Indian child, Native American, and you want to buy cigarettes, go for it. You can't. You'll be sent to jail for 50 years for having an ounce of marijuana, because that's the number one competitor. And the whole name of the game in Congress and in the federal government is defeating your competitors if they're swampy. And, under Obama, and I was in jail in San Francisco under Kamala Harris, total tobacco Nazi. I mean, if you have a little bit of marijuana, everybody in jail there was, I had a little thing of marijuana, and you're in jail. And there's your Kamala Harris. That's your current vice president, who put me in jail 5 times. I mean, and everybody's wondering why, when she was announced to be the vice president, I was running to Florida for a while. I mean, it was to be close to my son, who had just joined the Navy, and he was over there in Pensacola. But I was in Florida for a while because I just needed to get the hell out of California, when come on, so because I was just, arrest me once, shame on me. Arrest me 5 times because you're a freaking. She was a tobacco swamp for sure. 100% tobacco swamp creation. Handpicked by Marlboro Obama, by the way. He came out and he handpicked her. I remember that when he came out to California, and I knew she's slated to be the next president, and he came out and handpicked her for the tobacco swamp. This is a person that has. If you see all my arrest warrants, they're eventually, ultimately, all the prosecutions, it's all signed, all the paperwork, it's all signed to Kamala Harris. I think Anyway, and you say, well, she doesn't know me. She didn't do it against me personally, but it's the whole team there, Anyway, so let's get to Deadpool. Let's get to Ryan Reynolds, and then we're going to get going. Because this is kind of important. The gay, not gay. A lot of the gay men in entertainment are just tobacco swamp. And in the social media, like if it's a social media site, and they are based in Silicon Valley, California, San Francisco-ish, it's like, and the head of the company is gay, it's just tobacco. And that includes like Salesforce, that includes, Facebook, Salesforce, Twitter, like Mark Benioff, gay, Mark Zuckerberg, gay, Jack Dorsey, gay, Larry Ellison is gay, but he did mostly, he's a very big name. Who else? Who is Google, Facebook? They're all based there in San Francisco. Anyway, and just for the record, Microsoft, Bill Gates, they're all on this list. Anyway, so it's mostly tobacco, except with the exception of Bill Gates. He's pharmaceutical with his Microsoft, and a lot of the ones heading. I'm just saying he was the head of a computer company, and it's not quite based in San Francisco anyway. So that might be a difference. He's up in He's up in Washington, so maybe that might be the difference. What was I saying? Netflix is interesting because they had one gay guy who was tobacco, and then tobacco tanked, and they got a co-CEO who's also gay, but he brought in the pharmaceutical swamp. And they thought that the pharmaceutical swamp guy would save the company, and it just made it twice as bad, and they're going out of business because they're below their 2020. Anyway, all right, we're going to do that later. So Ryan Reynolds. I'm going across the country, trucking all over the place, and I'm noticing that the 7-Elevens, all the 7-Elevens have, there's two different companies that did the tobacco advertising even worse. It was 7-Eleven. They had big Deadpool ads. Deadpool. And just below every Deadpool ad was a huge Marlboro ad. Totally illegal, by the way, according to Obama's law. But nobody did anything. In the FBI, I was reporting it all over the place. Nobody enforced this law. I'm threatening lawsuits. I'm threatening this. I'm threatening that. I'm going to and it's just so useless. So I just recorded it all on Twitter. And then when I did Chevron, it really worked because in my area where I was mostly in California at the time, in that whole Southern California area that I covered, not Southern, I'm sorry, Northern California area 7-Elevens, all got rid of their Marlboros. And also in Nevada, like California, Nevada, Utah, I think, there were a lot of places I went, and because of this campaign, so it does work, you guys, by the way. This kind of activism does work when you get to the bottom of it. And I threatened to sue Marvel Studios. I had a big list. I think it was, I forget who was running Marvel at the time. Is that parent? I don't know which studio. But I said, okay, here they are, all the Deadpool ads. This is illegal. It's against the law. It's advertising cigarettes to kids specifically. You're targeting kids. Because a Marvel ad, there'll be a huge Deadpool. I have pictures. It's all over Twitter. Just go see on my account. That's been suspended for this reason. I have so much evidence of advertising to kids. But they did at least stop. They pulled off all the Marlboro ads on all the doors of all the 7-Elevens in all these areas. They're not there anymore. And now they're starting to sneak back in some places. And I went across the country. I tried to look. I just stopped that campaign when I saw that. But I think they're coming back. And then there was a second campaign that worked really well. And that was Chevron and Safeway got together. And they had these little cartoon characters. My cat's trying to climb up on me right now. Come here, cat. Settle down. Come on. Okay. So Chevron worked too. I said, okay, Chevron, I'm suing you. Safeway, blah, 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 under this law. I wasn't even sure you could do a personal civil lawsuit against that. I think you had to get somebody in the FBI to enforce that law, and nobody was doing it. I contacted the FBI, whatever, and they're just targeting kids specifically. The law says you can't have print advertisements like that at point of sale where a kid might be, and a kid might be at the damn Chevron station. They're saying, of course they're going to be there. They're grocery stores. They're going to be at the Walmart. They're going to be at all these places, right? So, it's under the law, and it was huge national campaigns. So Chevron, well, actually Safeway is not national, so I don't know if that was national or not. But all the Chevrons, and all the Chevrons had these little cartoon cars, and right under the cartoon car ads were these big Marlboro ads right next to it. And it was like Chevron, and Chevron got together with Safeway, and you could buy, if you had certain points, you could save on groceries and stuff. It was a huge ad, and those all came down. So Chevron was involved, and they still are. I mean, I'm saying every local gas station still has huge Marlboro ads up. And some companies were doing it, but especially Walgreens and all these places. So now they're all going out of business. Yay. But Ryan Reynolds smoking in the first scene of Deadpool, and then Deadpool being involved in all this 7-Eleven huge national campaigns for targeting kids for cigarette smoking. He is swamp. I'm just saying, I'm not sure he's personally involved in it. He probably knows, but most actors and actresses by now in music and entertainment, they know that they're advertising cigarettes. Give me a break. I mean, come on, really? I have an entire list over it. Oh, actually, oh my God, I have a. This is my website, Tobacco Songs. Evidence music artists are required to advertise cigarettes to get ahead. So here's a list of all the music artists who has a huge debut album, a breakthrough event, and every time there's a breakthrough event, there's a cigarette ad or a cigarette song. So you just pick the music artist and their debut album. And I didn't even, recently I commented on a YouTube comment where Post Malone was there, and I don't even have him on the list down here because I stopped doing this in 2005. Bum and Cigarettes, Maren Morris, debut album here, highest selling album. Her debut album, Maren Morris, is big country singer. Of course, the Chainsmokers, their debut album. But I haven't, Post Malone, his big debut album. What was that? I just recently commented on it, and I said I haven't updated this. I had this all at Wikipedia, and they tore it down. They said it was my favorite. It was a patent, it was copyright. Because I had one little, here, you light a cigarette. I had one little lyric mentioning the cigarette there. And they said, oh, you can't do that. That's a copyright. And they took down the whole thing. I mean, I worked 3 months on this. So Wikipedia now, I mean, they're tobacco. That's a tobacco swamp. But it's just like what YouTube is doing right now. They just silenced me on that. And all I was doing is I was trying to get crowdsourcing to help me with the list. Not that list. I had all this stuff. Where is the list? Home has a list there, I think. Like all the tobacco songs ever in music that mentioned cigarettes from the beginning all the way back to 1961. I had women and I had the country music. I had it separated into pop music. I had videos, and I said, I can't do this alone because there's new music coming out all the time with cigarette ads. So I put it on Wikipedia trying to do crowdsourcing so anybody could add to the list whenever they saw a cigarette ad or they heard a cigarette song. And I got this idea because my kids at one point started coming to me telling me there's a cigarette song here, there's a cigarette song there. They started recognizing it in the music. And that was, my son came to me and he said, Mom, there's a cigarette ad in this song. He was just 13 and it was Post Malone. What was it? White something. It was White. Oh, I've already forgotten. But I said, yeah, I didn't hear that song, but my son came to me and I put it on the list. But if there's crowdsourcing, you can get the list much more comprehensive, but it's a pretty comprehensive list. And YouTube and Wikipedia took it down for copyright infringement, which is why I have to go into copyright and patent law, baby girl, because that's the excuse the pharmaceutical company is using now for not giving out information. They get protected. They just go, and that's what made, Bill Gates rich. That's whom he's helping. He's helping the pharmaceutical companies, and they used that against me too in like 1994. Oh, I accused Pfizer of fabricating data, and they wouldn't allow me to get that data. Like in the science area, if you're accused of fabricating data, you have to give up the raw data, and they said it was patent protected, like it was all trade secrets. It was no trade secret. It had nothing to do with anything. It was just an excuse to protect fabricated work. They're doing that now. Pfizer is doing that right now. They're completely making up data on the fake emergency. And you try to get data from them and they're saying, oh, that's patent protected, even though the government paid for it, so they could just do whatever they want. And that's what Bill Gates is helping them with mostly in the court system as well. So the court system is pretty much bought and owned by Bill Gates. You could tell whenever you try to file something and they say, oh, you can't file it unless it's in Microsoft Word format. And it's like, are you kidding me? You have to pay for that. And nobody in, when I try to file, when I try to submit some of this stuff for publication in places, oh, it has to be in Word format. I don't have Microsoft Word, piece of garbage. Editing program. I use Google Docs and they don't accept that. They will not accept, and everything I do is in Google Docs. And Google Docs tries to do a conversion program, like you could put it out into Microsoft Word, but it's all garbled and it's very difficult. It's very protected. So the only thing Bill Gates was very good at was making protecting his garbage product with something in the patent laws that's allowing this to happen. It's very swampy, and I'm going to figure it out. So I got to get to the bottom of that, baby girl, before I get on to attacking family court. Family court's the last swamp to go anyway. But anyway, that's my tobacco songs. So anyway, I have a big history of tobacco. Ryan Reynolds hails from the tobacco swamp. He's on the gay list here, and I just put him there this week or last week. Why? Because he came back on the Kelly Clarkson show. Kelly Clarkson wasn't interviewing him. It was a guest host. And like somebody else they're promoting, probably another tobacco swamp person. But I said, oh, they're promoting another tobacco swamp movie on one of their streaming services. It's either Netflix or whatever. And I went to look at the movie. I didn't see the movie. I didn't watch it all the way. But what you do is you say cigarette smoking in the movie name, and then they'll tell you if they're smoking in it or not. Thank God there's a lot of parents out there actively doing this at some of these sites. What is that? I forget the media site. But it doesn't matter because one of the criticisms was, well, I thought this would be for kids, but there was a child committing suicide or a young suicide death. And I'm going, oh, that's pharmaceutical. So the pharmaceutical companies are saying you need to give Xanax to little kids now. So Ryan Reynolds went from tobacco swamp in most of these streaming services. So the movie they're advertising on the Kelly Clarkson show is pretty much pharmaceutical swamp, just from what I'm seeing. Like the message there, if they're into mental health, and they said the movie was a comedy. Oh, I remember. It's with Will Ferrell. It's a comedy that came out, and it's supposed to be a comedy, and yet there's a kid suicide. When it doesn't fit, it's a swamp ad, by the way. And they said, I thought this was funny, but I don't think it's for kids, and I don't think it was funny when they had a child or a teen suicide in there. They just throw it in because it's for the pharmaceutical swamp. So so he's up on the list. You're just swamp. You just jumped from tobacco swamp to pharmaceutical swamp, and that whatever movie company did Ryan Reynolds' recent movie is going bankrupt. That's it. Because as of the Christmas Isn't Canceled Only You peak last November 2021, that's their peak, and that's done. Christmas Isn't Canceled, just the pharmaceutical swamp for now. And there's a new peak for the defense contractor swamp. I'm calling it the Ukraine peak in my last tutorial, but guess what? I'm changing it to, if they start to go down and it turns out this was a peak, it's going to be the Christmas Isn't Canceled, just the defense contractor swamp peak. So these are my peaks. So they're on the list now. Interesting, like for instance, I did every Supreme Court member. If there was a woman, women are going, oh, yay, Justice Ginsburg, go, go, go. Well, she's on the Supreme Court because her husband was gay and was sleeping with, cooking dinner for him and all this crap. So a lot of times if there is a powerful woman, if there's a powerful non-gay dumbass moron, there's a son who's gay who's helping him. But if there's a woman in a powerful position, I think Pelosi, though, the funny thing is you can't see any videos. I couldn't find any videos of her husband. I don't know. So I can't tell you if he's gay or not. I need a video of him, somebody. I mean, I can't tell. There's like an interview or something, but maybe he's really flagrantly gay. But if he is, but usually the Speaker of the House is gay. That's like starting with Hastert. I go through and the current one is. So if it's a woman, I'm sure Pelosi's husband is gay, now that I think about it, especially with all the latest stuff going on. But so if there's a powerful woman, the husband is gay. So recently, the Democrat, except when like the Republican women, a lot of times don't have a gay husband. It's mostly the Democratic. If there's a powerful Democratic female, the husband is gay. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her husband was so gay, and he was sleeping. And so I had the three guys. Who was it? And Trump got rid of like two of them, I think, or recently one. So there aren't any more gay men. But the one who replaced this last one who left is a black woman. Oh, yay for blacks! Yay for blacks! Her husband is so flaming gay, it's not even funny. And if you can't tell, then sit this one out, people. But the black woman has this white guy husband, and he's like got all these cute socks and everything. I said, what the hell? So I went to look at videos of him, flaming gay, and he's on the list here somewhere. I don't know. I just put him on and said the husband of. I even forgot everybody's name. I'm sorry. It's just I got so many names in my head now. I can't even do this anymore. But anyway, he's on the list. He's on the list here. And so that's that. And it's very helpful to tell you what the power structure is, to show you and why. So here's my gay and not gay list. And I have other stuff. I have other websites. 9/11. I'm going to do them right here. Let's just get on to the Dow 30. 555. Oh, look at me. I think you could see me better today. Look at that. Hi. Usually it's darker, or maybe it's just, hi. Let's just do, 555. All right, I'm just going to do the Dow. Let's just do that. Because I think after this, I'm going to do another tutorial where I just read my latest paper that I'm trying to get published. And there was, finally somebody was interested, and then they said, oh, I'm sorry, we can't accept it except in Microsoft Word. And I went, oh, great. Here is a medical publication I'll do it. If you're listening at it, I said, yeah, okay. And I was like in October, and then I got interested in all the swamp stuff. So that took priority. But I will put it in Microsoft Word. I have to go to like a library to do this. And I just don't have time for that. You get too old. And so I put them off and said, it's a publication I sent it for publication like last year or last, it was about the fake emergency. And it just blew the whole thing out of the water. It's like we finally got the data on excess deaths that they were keeping from us, that I was trying to get way back in 2020. And I finally got all the data I needed and just blew the whole thing out of the water and explained exactly where all the excess deaths were coming from and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to read that one verbatim after I'm done with this tutorial. And when I do that, I'll go through where all this information is online. I have like 3 or 4 websites. I have one for 9/11. Go to my YouTube site. I have one for 9/11, one for tobacco songs you just saw, one called Rights for Families that started the whole thing, and it has a lot of this stuff. And I don't know, I think Twitter was the last place I had this one posted for, and all my lawsuits. Oh, I think I have to go post that. I haven't posted this. Once Twitter came down, all this stuff came down. All right, let's just do that next. Okay, so that's gay, not gay. I was just up there. Those are the gay, not gay people, just to help you out, tell you who's gay, not gay. All right, let's go. Without further ado, let's see if we can go through this quickly. I don't even know what things did yesterday. I didn't even check. I'm just too tired. I've just been sleeping. So until I'm gonna go to maximum, they've already been zeroed. So Intel's at the cheapest stock. I've already mentioned this. I said, so here are the things I'm looking for in the stocks. I'm looking for what happens at the very beginning of 2008, because 2 things happened. Sometimes stocks will sell off because they're part of the defense contractor swamp, which if you're a defense contractor swamp stock, you sell off during election years. And if you're tobacco swamp stock, or not even a tobacco swamp stock, if you're a stock that's been favored by the corporate income tax, and Trump lowered the corporate income tax in December of 2017, you're going to have a big dip in your stock price because you've been favored before and now you're no longer favored under Trump. And another thing that happens to certain stocks is they start to soar in January of 2018. That means they are almost the opposite of a swamp stock. That means they were competitors to certain swamp stocks and they were being held back by the corporate income tax. So they're good. They're good. And you'll see some of those today. So, but it has to be kind of obvious. This one, maybe Intel is a little bit of defense contractor, but the defense contractor had huge, like right here in 2008, there was a very distinctive, and this isn't that distinctive, by the way. Maybe, what is this, like 2012? Sometimes they have midterm elections. So Intel is a little bit defense contractor swampy because it's having certain sell-offs, like right here in 2008, to buy candidates in Congress. They're doing sell-offs. And it's a little bit in 2018. But, I mean, first of all, and then, golly, I don't know. So I'm saying it's defense contractor swamp, but it's not benefiting at all from the Christmas Isn't Canceled, Only You defense contractor swamp peak right here at all. So I theorize that Intel is an okay company. It's not 2 different swamps. It's one swamp. A lot of companies have only one swamp. And if they're involved in only one swamp, I'm not. And then also, it's currently way below the 2020 low, which isn't very obvious on here. Like I don't. It's not a tip. Anyway, I just said forget it. I said Intel is way oversold because they were way oversold to buy other stocks, swamp stocks. Oh, by the way, every stock on the Dow is owned mostly by Vanguard Group. And the only 2 are Coca-Cola and American Express that are owned mostly by Berkshire Hathaway. And Vanguard Group comes in second. But everything is Vanguard Group on the Dow. So this is what I did. We're going to go here. We're going to go to draw on the page. So that's it. So the lows are pretty much the truth. I'm going to do whatever I want in 2025, which is around here. This is very... So I think Intel is oversold. I think it should stay on the Dow, and I think it's going to start to go up, actually, until it reaches maybe almost the $50 range, $48. So, by the way, when this is done, I'm going to go through, record everything I said, and put it on in one file, describing it, so, and then post it somewhere. I guess I don't know. I just see it's hard to like. Where do I post that? I make a file and it has all this data in it. Where do I post that? I'm just gonna put it in a future video, so you know where the link is, because the video seems to be the best way to communicate with people. They seem to respond more to my video. Like, a lot of stuff started to happen more with me when I started putting things up on video that I've been saying for years and writing, and I knew that. I knew people looked at videos more than writing. So anyway, Intel's going up. It's going to go up, and it's going to continue going up. So they should stay on the Dow. I'm not qualifying it. I'm going to say it's partially defense contractor swamp, and by the end of 2024 and beginning of 2025, it should be around 48, the price. Okay, bye Intel. We'll see you later. Verizon. I'm just going through the list. I don't know it by heart. All right, Verizon is the same. Because they are at the bottom of because their prices are so low, the swamp has been selling these guys off to pay for the recent rally, especially the October. Like, the swamp wanted to say October was the best month to support Biden. Just ahead of the November 4th elections, they wanted to make October the best Dow month in history. They'll say, I think it was ridiculous, like the best month the Dow has seen since 1960 something. And in order to do that, they had to manipulate a lot of stocks to do it. And it cost them a lot. So they are definitely going down the drain. And I think when they do it, I love it, because it means they're just putting a lot of money into this, and they're not going to see that money again. Except maybe but they're going to start buying back these. They sold the hell out of Intel, and they sold the hell out of Verizon. They sold the hell out of Walgreens. But Walgreens, as I said, is part pharmaceutical and definitely tobacco swamp. Well, just from personal experience. So they're going out of business. But Verizon, I don't have any reason to say why they would be going out of business. In fact, if you look at 2018, they took off a little bit. Like, okay, so here's December, and then they went down a little bit, but it's like, whoop, under Trump. Like, I think, I'm going to say Verizon almost is an they are the anti-swamp. In other words, I don't think they're just getting beaten up by the swamp right now. But I think when Trump comes back, they might take off. I think they're way oversold, just because I'm not seeing swampy behavior. Well, I am. Here's a big swampy behavior right here. There's a huge peak in 2008, and then it was sold out. That is defense contractor swampy. But a lot of stocks have that too, that aren't defense contractor. I'm just calling it defense contractor because the defense contractors kept doing that beyond 2010. So here's an example of the Citizens United. Citizens United people before 2010, when Citizens United Supreme Court decision came out, were doing the swampy stuff. Look at this. That's like swampy. They were selling stock to give to Congress people during an election year. And then Citizens United sort of stopped that, and you don't see it quite as much here. Like, what is this? I don't know. 2016, maybe a little bit, but it's not as pronounced, except in defense contractor swamp stocks. So this is a okay company, kind of. Except I don't know anything about the company. So if there's something else going on that I don't know about, but who knows? Because the news is just like, the news will say, oh, Verizon isn't as good as T-Mobile. It's like bullshit. Like, they're not, I think it's just fake news. I think they're oversold. So let's just do this. So let's see what they're going to be doing. I'm going to do the best I can to draw something. I mean, I think they're going to be doing really well, especially when Trump comes in. I think Verizon should probably stay on the Dow. They're being sold right now to pay for other swamp stocks. And at the end of 2024, oh, is that the end of whatever? I don't know what the timeline is. They're going to be around 70. $68. I don't know why I'm saying 68 instead of 70. Just round it off. I'm just going to say $70 by the end of 2024. Verizon Communications. And should remain on the Dow. Because I do have a naughty list of Dow stocks that should come off the list. All right, bye Verizon. Walgreens is, just from personal experience, I know for a fact they are total tobacco swamp. WBA. All right, let's do Walgreens. So they are tobacco swamp. You can see them. They died. They were starting to die even before Trump came in. But 2016, and if you look at the Marlboro, stock, it's doing this exactly. It's like bump, 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 bump. And then they don't even have that big of a peak for the pharmaceutical. Christmas isn't canceled. Only the pharmaceutical swamp peak right here. It's not even there that much. It's like, it's just mostly tobacco. So two swamps, and it's just, okay, here's what it is. I'm not even looking at the graphs. Walgreens is a tobacco swamp from thanks to Obama's law, we're allowed to advertise only Marlboro. I mean, that was at the point of sale because it wasn't enforced. It was never enforced under Obama. Maybe it started to get enforced under Trump, and that's what I was seeing when everybody started taking down their stuff. But I haven't been back to Walgreens in a while. And so, but they were definitely some of the biggest. Them, Dollar General, I mean, they were so big, and I took pictures all over the place. Oh, I forgot to say Dollar General is involved in food stamps. If you could buy cigarettes with your food stamp card at Dollar General's. I'm pretty sure. That's going on. And people will go there all the time to do that. And that was illegal. Anyway. So when they're that ugly, so it's two swamps. The current price, it isn't below, but it fell below at some point. It broke through the 2020 lows. All its support is just gone. There's no bottom to this. Walgreens is going out of business, people. There's going to be a spinoff. There's going to be, I don't know if there is even a spinoff. Walgreens is its own American, British, Swiss holding company in Deerfield, Illinois. That's all they're going to sell. They're going to get rid of the Walgreens portion. It's going to spin off. Walgreens is just going to tank. Like CNN did that. They spun off something, and CNN is spun off, and that's going to tank. Fox spun off something, and the Fox is going to tank. But anyway, let's just do this real fast. We'll do that later. So for these guys, just because I feel like it, I mean, I could do this line if I want. But I'll be nice and do this line and say Walgreens is going to be 20. By the end of 2024, Walgreens is going to be, if they haven't broken up by then, the stock price is going to be 20, or they're going to be spun off, or they're just going to go bankrupt completely. So there's three things. Walgreens, definitely you got to take it off the Dow. Okay? So they're on the naughty list. Bye, Walgreens. We're done. All right. Walgreens, we're done with you. Cisco. Let's do Cisco. I wanted to mention here on the daily graph, every once in a while you'll see after hours trading. Like this one. Get out of my face. Why is this needle following me? Anyway, so after hours trading is extremely easy to manipulate because it's very low volume. I could do it with like $5,000 probably by stock. And when you have a manipulation like this, it's like, oh, somebody accidentally bought the stock after hours, way below, like at 45. And that's not what happened. I think a lot of times, and I saw this a lot, I think It's just the swamp people trying to convince non-gay dumbass morons in Congress. They'll go, oh, and after hours trading, Cisco is trading way below. It's going down tomorrow. Like a lot of times, if a company has a bad news or something after the stock market closes, you'll see it in after hours trading. It'll be they'll say this. They'll say, oh, Walgreens is trading way lower in after hours trading, or Cisco is trading way lower. And what they'll do is they'll do this right at this time, and then they'll show this is to show a non-gay dumbass moron. So they're trying to tell some non-gay dumbass moron that Cisco is going to be down tomorrow, and they should sell it all now. They should sell it at the opening. So at the opening tomorrow, and then they're going to buy the hell out of it. They're just trying to sucker people into shorting the stock or selling the stock when it opens. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to predict, if this is swamp, it seems swampy, I'm going to predict Cisco is going to trade like lower and look like it's going down and get everybody to panic and sell. And then they're going to buy it because they're planning to buy the shit out of it. So Cisco tomorrow is going to end super high or above more. It's going to end higher than it started because they're going to try to get the dumbass morons to sell it. And then now that just tells me Cisco, they're planning on buying a lot of Cisco. Cisco's going to start to take off. And for good reason, because it's like Intel, yeah. So Cisco is going to, let me see what the 6 month is. Oh, yeah. Maybe not. Like, oh, this is what they're going to say. They're going to show them the 6 month chart, and they're going to say, oh, Cisco is going down. And you see here, this peak, look at that. The fact that it didn't reach that peak and it's starting to go down here says that it's on its downward. It's on its downward slope. I could tell they're telling somebody that it's going down, and we'll see tomorrow. I'm not even going to check, but it just seems to me on the chance, and this is why, because I just told you Intel is super, like, they're going up. So I think they're going to say the chips are on fire. That's what the news is going to be. The chips are on fire because of China. China could be used for anything. You could say, China is doing this, so the chips are on fire. And you could say the same thing. China is doing this, so the chips are selling. Like, all they have to do is say China is doing something, and then they could say that that's why things are going up or down, regardless of what they say. They're pretending like they have some inside information on what China is doing. And it's like, oh, and they could say whatever they want. It's just a cover for shit they're doing so tomorrow, all the chips are going to start to go up tomorrow. When they're going to start the day going down. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm only trying to do long term right now. I don't want to help you day traders out, but I'm just trying to tell you, if you are a day trader, it looks like tomorrow morning they're going to pretend like the chips are selling, and then the chip stocks like Intel and Cisco are going to take off. Maybe we'll check back. Maybe tomorrow we'll check back and see if what's happened. But Cisco, it's like I saw that they're sold off more, but not as much as Intel. Cisco, they weren't able to sell it off. I told you it was hard to sell it off. Maybe Intel isn't. Well, anyway, so Cisco seems a lot stronger. They sold off in Cisco and Intel to pay off the recent October. And the reason you do that is because if you want the Dow to go up and you sell the stocks with the lowest prices, it's not going to make it go down. So they're just collecting money from these lower stocks to pay for, stocks like United Health and things like that are high priced to make sure the Dow went up in October. So in October, but I'm seeing a little bit of swampy behavior here. Oh, I have to get rid of this. I'm sorry. To see what this is. What is this peak? So what happened with Intel is, look at what Cisco. Look at what Cisco happened. Like Trump in December. Oh, okay. January 2018, it kind of slowed down a little bit, but I'm saying it took off. Like, I think, I'm going to say it was taking off here. What the hell is this? Oh, I don't know. It looks like it's almost a pharmaceutical swamp peak. What had happened here? Anyway, whatever. Here's the 2020 low. It's a part of the graph almost. when it's a part of the graph, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just too bad. It's just a strong stock. It should stay on the, and they're manipulating it. So I'm not sure the downs are, but it was oversold for a while because it's easy to oversell. It's harder to sell it down. Look, they tried to sell it down. They tried to sell Cisco on March 20th. They tried to sell it as much as possible, and it bounced off of its regular support line. That's how hard it is to get a stock to go down. And it doesn't matter because Cisco is so low priced that, it wasn't helping the overall Dow go down anyway on that day. But they sold as much as they could of it, and it bounced right on its support line. And it's bouncing on its support line now. So Cisco is a good stock. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know. It's probably swampy. I have no idea. But according to its graph, it's going to go up. It should stay on the Dow. A lot of these companies are going to get rid of their swamp factors after, they're starting to get rid of the swamp factors soon. As soon as Vanguard sells enough, then, pretty soon they can't own it anymore. But at the end of 2024, I'm just guessing that's the end of 2024, but it's going to be 48. It's going to be where, and you're going, wait a minute, you just said it's going up, but you just got through saying it's going to be the same price it is now. Well, that's just because it's a little bit oversold now, but it's going to oversell some more because they need Cisco to sell for the 2020. Okay, let's just do this. They need Cisco stock to sell to give to for the swamp. Let's do this. Oh shoot. Look, I'll show you what the stock's going to do for the insider, for the day traders. This is what it's going to do. Here's what it's going to do. Let's do this. Okay, so this is what the stock's going to do. It's going to be at 48. It's going to be the same price it is now in 2024. Is that bad? No, it's a good stock. Just leave it there. I'm just saying, what I'm doing when I'm doing the 2024 is I'm telling you long-term stuff. And if you're interested in long-term stuff, invest in the Dow, but invest in the Dow in 2024. That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of the good stocks are going to be the same price now as they were then. But from then on, they're going to start to really go up a lot when Trump comes in. But they're not. The good news is they're not going to tank and go out of business, is what I'm saying. But a lot of the Dow is going to go down. Let me do this. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me just do this real fast. I'll show you the shape. I'll show you this shape because I want to show if these predictions come out or not. So it's going to go like this. So it's going to go up until in 2023, and then it's going to go up to here. It's going to peak at around 65 because they're going to be on fire. And then, oops, I didn't do that right. It's going to peak like between there and there. So let me do this. I'll show you exactly what it's going to do. It's hilarious. Okay, so it's going to peak right over here. Yeah, okay. So it's going to go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's going to follow the pattern it's been doing. And then right like that. Something like that. So it's going to peak whenever at the end. It's going to peak in 2023 at 65. Okay, and then they're gonna start selling Cisco to pay for all the campaign people in 2024, and then it's gonna reach a bottom, but they can't sell it much more than here. So at the end of 2024, it's gonna be maybe a little bit higher. Where's 2024? 2024 is where it is now. The price is now $48. All right, so there's your graph. Something like that. It's going to be a little more up and down, but that's pretty much it. So it's going to peak, and then so that's why I'm saying just leave the stock on the Dow. I'm doing long term. I'm saying what stocks are healthy and are going to go up. It's being manipulated in the upward direction. Fine. Is that enough to take it off the Dow? No, because they're all being manipulated right now. But Vanguard Group isn't going to own them as much right here. Trump comes in. They're going to be, after doing all these manipulations, it costs a lot of money. So Vanguard Group might not be the number one owner by then. Finally, so they can't manipulate as much, and because they're bleeding like crazy. Okay, 6:20. This is going to be longer than an hour. I don't care. Oh, it's the music of the night. I might have to stop and continue because I can't do this in the daytime. Right? All right. So that's Cisco Systems. Bye. We're done. Keep it on the Dow. Bye, Cisco. I think we're going to have to move a lot. I don't care. What do I have to move faster? What am I moving faster for? Who cares? It's for me and it's for anybody interested. And if you're interested, I'm not going to try to present it more so that it's easier for you. Work at it a little bit. Shit. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to swear. All right. So now Dow is confusing a little bit because Dow is also a company name. And the difference between Dow and Dow, the company, is I call Dow with a capital letters, D-O-W. That means the 30 stocks. When it's Dow like this, or I say Dow Inc., and it's Dow with the lowercase, that's the company. So don't confuse it. Don't confuse the two. One's a chemical company. Oops, sorry. So let's see what Dow Company is doing. Dow Company. Go to the max. Oh, this one was spun off. And I'm not sure if that means it's going out of business or not. But it does have it's not even the Christmas isn't canceled, only the pharmaceutical peak here, only the pharmaceutical swamp. Because that happened in like the summer of 20. This happened way back here. This happened in it is. No, it happened in this one. No, Christmas isn't canceled. It should happen here. I don't know what's going on with Dow. No comment. No comment on Dow. Because I have no idea what it's doing. I have no idea. Because I can't see the full graph. There was a spin-off. I can't see the full graph. If I can't see the full graph, I can't tell you what's going on. So I don't know what's going on with Dow. Except if it's spun off sometimes, it means the company knows it's going down. So it's like they break it off so that it dies, and they like protect themselves from all sorts of lawsuits when they do that. It's like a bit of a trick. So if it's breaking off and they sell it on, then they put it on its own, then what did they do? Company was added to the Dow Jones. The company is headquartered Pakistan Limited. Oh, Argentina? It might be a tobacco swamp. But I don't see the tobacco peak either. I mean, I'm not tobacco. I mean, it might be defense contractor. They seem international here. But I'm not seeing anything. You know what? It could be the defense. You know what? Just be quiet. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this real fast. Let's just say it's defense contractor swamp. Just for the heck of it. You know, I don't want to predict in all this, but, so what? Let's just draw our line. Who cares? Like, just predict. And you might be right. Like, let's say I absolutely have to predict. Okay, you have to predict. So what? You only have a partial, so do your drawings. I'm sorry. Let's just do this real fast. Who cares? It's me. I just want to... Come on, what's going on here? Oh, I know what's going on. You're on drawing mode. You should be on line mode. So let's just do it. What the hell? Who cares, right? So Dow is going to be, Dow of the company is going to reach 30 by the end of 2024 and should be taken off the I hate to say that though. Dow, okay, just from the fact that it was spun off. From the fact that it was spun off and the graph is looking weak going in here, I'm going to say the Dow Inc. is going to go down to be 33. I don't know why I have to say 33. It's going to be 33. Oh, that's a good number, by the way. So Dow Inc. is going to be 33 by the end of 2024 and should be taken off the big Dow. Okay, we're done. Bye, Dow. Coca-Cola, let's do that real fast. That is one of the two stocks mostly owned by Berkshire Hathaway on the Dow. Okay, so Coca-Cola is beginning to be, it's swamped before Citizens United. Most of the stocks were. It's a big peak right there. Boom. And that's just selling off to pay for the election campaigns. And it didn't do it as much since then. I can't see it, and it just had one big, and it just looks good, but oversold. I think it might be oversold. So but it stays on the Dow. It's okay. It's not. It's really actually pretty good, but I'm not going to say that's the bottom. It's really oversold though, isn't it? I'm going to use that one as the bottom. A lot of this is instinct too, and I don't care because I trust my instincts. So too bad if you don't trust them, then I'm just showing you where I'm getting some of this stuff. Coca-Cola, not oversold, it's overbought because it's just swampy. Maybe what it did, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see what effect it had on, I'm sorry, I want to see something. Like what happened in 2018? So at the beginning, oh, just a tiny little effect. But it's funny that it looks like Trump, it looks like it's just going straight here. All right, never mind. Okay, let's just draw. Who cares? Let's get it done. So I'm saying it's overbought. Thing is, Berkshire Hathaway doesn't specialize in Coca-Cola. They just like the stock. So I'm going to say 2024, it's going to be at 62. It's going to be at 62 where it is now. So I think Coca-Cola is probably going to do the same thing as whatever it was, Cisco. It's just a strong stock that it's going to sell. Actually, it seems like it's far away. Anyway, why is it at 62? Yeah, so they're going to oversell it and do the same thing a couple of times between now and then. Sorry, Coca-Cola is going to go up higher, up higher. There's your Coca-Cola going forward. Something like that. Okay. So it's going to be oversold to buy certain things. Well, maybe not down so much. Yeah, it's just going to be bought and sold just to manipulate the market. But there's your Coca-Cola. 62 at the end of 2024. It should stay on the Dow. It's swampy, but it's not going out of business. And a lot of this is happening, but I'm saying maybe this is going to be so different because of what's going on. You know, a lot of this stuff is going to start to break apart. People are seeing what's going on, so this isn't going to happen anymore. They're listening to me, and just from the mere fact of me drawing it, if they know ahead of time what's going to happen, then it's not going to happen. So that's fine by me. But the end product is still going to be that because that is still there. The company is still a fine company, and by the end of 2024 election year, that's where it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be on the way there, but that's fine. Buy Coca-Cola. So Disney, I'm going to skip because I'm going to do that with the swamp stocks. Sorry, if you're interested in the media swamp stocks, just wait till the end, or maybe I'll do it on a separate video because we're already at an hour. So yeah, maybe that'll be a separate. No, I'm just doing them all now. Who cares? Whatever. Nike. So one thing I wanted to say about Nike and about Walmart, both of whom are on here, is there is a factor that I don't know how to put in. And that is the fact that most of their product comes from slave labor in China. That's Walmart and that's Nike. So, I forgot, what the hell is this? So Nike didn't have a big bump here, but they did a huge deal trying to get Trump out. Oh, well, I'll tell you why. Look at that. I'll tell you why. Because if Trump comes in and does what he's going to do, he's going to really affect companies that are using slave labor in China. And I think Nike knew it. They didn't like Trump at all. They're selling off here to buy as many people, to buy like who competed with Trump, like Hillary. Like we need anybody but Trump, in other words. But the funny thing is, maybe not. Maybe I'm overinterpreting that. But thing is, when Trump came in, look at that. End of 2017. What's going on? it just looks like at the beginning, look at that, Nike just took off. So it looks like Nike, just go on with it, will you? What the hell is this? Nope. Look at that. It's got the pharmaceutical peak here. What the hell are you doing? It looks like a pharmaceutical swamp, but it's only one swamp. It doesn't look like any other swamps. I'm not seeing tobacco. So here's my story with companies that are, I don't get, like, they, maybe Walmart looks like this. I'll have to look at Walmart a little bit. But if their main company thing is using slave labor in China to help them, they're going to have trouble with Trump because he's getting rid of that stuff, which cracks me up that blacks hate Trump when, you know, they must love slavery, but they don't like Asians anyway. I'm being very general about this, very racist, but blacks and Asians don't get along. I think it's because Asians don't spank their kids. They just have the cultural differences between blacks and Asians are just huge. Like, Asians don't spank their kids, period. I mean, they're very strict with them, but they don't in general. And that's why they live longer. That's why they're, like, have way more self-discipline. They live longer because there's less stress, even though the parents can be very strict. And, you know, and you look at the Asian countries and they're all, you know, they live long. They don't spank. And the blacks do like crazy. So they don't get along in that aspect. But also, you know, that's why I'm sure the blacks don't give a damn that there's slave labor in China. Why for every product they have, they buy shit and it makes the prices come down a lot. But it doesn't help here. It brings all the labor, you know, why am I not getting paid a lot? Well, it's because there's slave labor in China. It's the same as what happened between the North and the South during the slave times. You know, and you think blacks are the only people who are slaves? Come on, black people, you really don't like slavery? Well, then vote for Trump, because he's the only person in history to try to end the slave labor in China. Hello, car. I don't care. It's the music of the night. I'm going to keep going because it's going to be 2 hours because I don't feel like doing this again and blah, blah, blah. Just suck it. Anybody who complains about this. So Nike didn't like Trump because he was going to affect their slave labor. They're all over, and like they make all their Nike things in China. But then the funny thing is, it took off when he gave them the corporate income tax came down. It took off. So it's kind of a legitimate company if they could figure it out. I think Trump's going to help them figure it out. I think Trump is going to help a lot of these companies. Like, he's not going to just go end slave labor in China and then not help American companies to recover from that. I think he's been helping them, and I think it's a fine company, though they do have this weird, you know, pharmaceutical swamp. Oh, you know what? That could be do it with China too, because China, a lot of the fake emergency is to help. You know, a lot of the fake emergency was to give money to China, actually. Or I don't know, guys, but I'm saying just from the graph, I'm saying it's not swampy. It's only one swamp, and it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be all right, Nike. I think it should stay on the Dow. And it just bounced off a bottom. Oh, man. Listen, guys. This is what I'm going to say. God damn. So, this is what I'm going to tell you for Nike. It's going to go down over the next month or two. They're going to sell Nike to pay for the chip stocks. They're going to sell a lot of Nike to pay for the chips. But when it comes down to here, if it breaks through this support line, all bets are off. I'm no longer saying it's an okay company. It's done. It's going to go out of business. So this is the only one where I'm going to just say iffy. But if it comes down, they sell off, and it bounces here, if it bounces, it's going to come down, and if it bounces in the next month or two at $80, it's going to come down, and if it bounces at $80, you're okay. All right, people? But if it goes through, it's going to go out of business. Okay? All right. And if it bounces, then it's going to be 110. It's going to be where it is now. It's going to be 110 at the end of 2024. And it should stay on the Dow. But if it breaks through, then get rid of it. That's all. Okay, bye Nike. I'm done with you. Couldn't figure out Nike. That was a challenge. I thought I would go through some of these yesterday, and I did, but I don't think I went through Nike too much. Merck. I mean, I tried because I don't want to be sitting here guessing while I'm here, but sometimes it's just I didn't go through all of them. Merck stock. Oh yeah, so some of them are going to pretend like they're going down. Oh, this is the beginning of today. Never mind. I don't know what Merck's doing. Actually, let me check Cisco. Yeah, look. So Cisco went way down, but look how fast it came back up. It started, oh, they really tricked somebody. They tricked a few people to sell first thing in the morning. Like, put in a sell order so that first thing in the morning you're selling, I'm telling you, it's tanking. They got a lot of people to sell the stock because they want to buy it cheap, but they didn't get a lot of people to sell it. Well, maybe it's coming. We'll see. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, forget it. I don't want to get into the daily stuff because I don't know. It's been a long time since I haven't looked at Cisco stock in forever, except today. So I don't know about it, but I'm just going by some certain indicators that it's kind of like they're trying to trick some people and they're trying to trick non-gay dumbass morons. And you know what? Let them do it. At this point, I just almost don't care. So Merck was totally swampy. Look at that. They sold a lot to buy some people. They sold a lot of people to buy Obama. Or maybe not Obama because but Biden. It was Biden and Obama. Biden is their guy. It's like you get in there because you're pharmaceutical swamp. So, and Obamacare. They wanted Obamacare, but that was mostly Biden pushing that. Definitely a Democrat. We want Obamacare but since then, I don't know, there's a little bit in 2016, a little bit in 2018. They didn't go down much, so that's okay. And they didn't, the funny thing is, after all that, they got maybe Obamacare money, but they didn't get any kind of swamp. They weren't affected by the, and also Merck in my brain, when I was in the laboratory, for instance, we would buy a lot of companies from Amgen and from Merck, a lot of products. They make a lot of products that you use in the lab and a lot of chemicals and things. Amgen and Merck, and these companies are doing okay, but we never bought anything from like Pfizer. They don't make anything. They just make the drugs. So that's why they're the number one swamp company. So Merck has a lot of products and stuff, and we bought them and they're fine. So I think it's an okay company. But I'm just showing you that they were a little bit swampy when it comes to selling to buy, and they are oversold now. And for some reason, they're getting defense contractor swamp. Here, it's the Christmas isn't canceled, only the defense contractor money? What the hell is that? Are you buying Merck to go into Ukraine or something? What is the excuse there? I don't know. It's always some excuse, but they're way oversold. But they're still an okay company. I'm going to say that they're okay, and they're going to come down. I mean, they're oversold for now, but I think they're going to bounce when they come down. And it's just like Nike. If they bounce, we're okay, and I think they will. They're going to bounce down here. But so this one, I think it's actually going to be, you're going to say, what the hell are you talking about? It's going to go down to 75. Yeah, I'm predicting by the end of 2024, Merck is going to be at 75. And you're going, what the hell? That's a huge decrease from where they are now. Why are you saying they stay on the Dow? Because I'm looking long term, and I think they're just going to have to shed. A lot of companies are just going to have to shed there. And by then, maybe Vanguard Group isn't going to be the number one owner of them. Okay? But all the companies. I don't think any of them are free from the swamp stuff. And it could be that Merck is both pharmaceutical and defense contractor swamp. I don't get that part, but who knows? This is why I like doing this, because I'm crowdsourcing. There's other people out there who go, oh, hell yeah. They got a huge chunk of that defense. Remember the $50 Ukraine spending bill? Merck got a big chunk of it for some excuse. So who knows? But all the swamps are also consolidating. So here I come. I forgot to beautify myself. I don't have any. My hair's. I just rolled out of bed and not rolled very far, but I didn't do anything. Oh my God. Anyway, look at my hair. Look at that. See, I like my little Target dog. It says love is love. So I learned from. Okay. All right. So, buy Merck. What did I say? I already said it. I said 75 by the end of 2024. It's going to be sold to pay for, just as usual though, it's going to continue being sold to pay for the campaigns of various people in 2024, various Congress people. Merck is. So, all right. Maybe if that practice stops, but it doesn't matter if that practice stops or not. It's going here. All right. So, buy Merck. 3M, I know now they're going out of business because their stocks say they're way more than one swamp. Okay. So this is one of these companies, like, what the hell are they? So they have that normal, but then they did a little bit of a dip here for 2015, which is very, it's very defense contractor. A lot of the defense contractors took a dip in 2015 instead of 2016. But it's also very tobacco-y here. Like, this is either tobacco or they definitely are suffering from Trump's taking down the, I don't know. It's so tobacco-y. And they just like, this is tobacco, and then they have the pharmaceutical. This could be all three. But they're just, I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're just going out of business. They're way below there, and it's not being oversold. It's 122 is a pretty high price. We're starting to get up into the higher prices, so they're not selling it. They're not selling it because it's low price to help the Dow in October. They're just selling it because it's just a bad company. And this is another one where I can draw two different lines, and I'm going to be nice. I could draw this one and say you guys are out of business by now, I guess. No, that can't be, I guess. So I'm going to draw this one. They're taking a, like, so we'll see. But it's looking like, okay, so 3M should be taken off the Dow. And this is what they're going to do. It's kind of like Cisco a little bit. So it's going to go up and down, but I think they're going to go, no. This is what they're going to do. And then by the end of 2024, they are going to be either out of business, spun off, out of business, or 70. They're going to be spun off. Oh, you know what? The other thing is, I'm not sure this is the down part of it. Oh, you know what? I don't know why. It could be worse than this, guys. Let me just, okay, another thing they could be doing. That's the highest they're going to be. So this could just be, because I just saw they were going down. So this could be, okay, let me just do this. This is another option, you guys. This isn't the low for this peak. So it could be, we're still tanking a little bit here. So it could go like this. This latest drop. And then it's going to start to go up. I don't know. And if that's true, anyway, I'm saying 80 is the absolute highest it's going to be. 80 is the absolute highest it's going to be at the end of 2024. And it could be bankrupt by then. Because if I'm drawing this line and like this, yeah. I don't know if this is the bottom of this recent peak, but it is going to go up to possibly before 2024. In 2023, 3M is going to go up Maybe. I'm not sure what the hell they're doing. I kind of doubt it now that I've outed it. Oh, here it is. Here's the line right here. What am I doing? So we're going to go up. So in 2024, it's going to go as high as 150 is the highest it's going to be in 2023. 3M, the highest 3M is going to be in 2023 is 150. And then after it hits 150, it's tanking either out of business or down. Like 80 is going to be the highest it's going to be, but I'm going to say 50 or below probably. So it's tanking. 3M should be taken off, and it's tanking. And sorry for all the ugly lines. Yeah. I think it's going to keep going down maybe for a little bit. I'm sorry. I want to just do this right, because I just saw a line here that it's going to be. So let me do this right, okay? I'm not even going to guess. I'm going to tell you exactly. So I'm going to tell you exactly what it's going to be. Sorry. This is what I was hoping to do yesterday, so I'm not wasting your time, but just suck it. Just suck it. If you're complaining. Oh, her videos, she rambles too much. Yeah, well, okay. Don't take the information then. Damn it. They're too long and she rambles too much. These are people who are form over function. They're just like, go ahead. I would say go pay attention to them if that's, if you want form over function. You're definitely not Trump people. I just want the slope of this line. Dang it. Just every time I do this, though, it does that. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. We're going back to the start, the scientist. I just want the slope. Just get it close this time. Just close enough. So so 3M is tanking right now a little bit. It's going up and down, but it's going to keep doing that until it hits about 80. And then it's going to go up to what did I say? It's going to go up to 150. So right now 3M is on a downward slope, and it's going to hit a bottom at around 80. Okay. And it might just keep going. I mean, it just goes straight out business. But I think it's going to go up to around 150 in 2024, and then it's all over from there. We're out of business. So at the end of 2024, 3M is going to be spun off, or it's going to go to very low, like 10, 20, like it's going to go to 20-ish. It's just going to be spun off, go bankrupt, or be at around $20 or something like that. So that's the final say on 3M. Okay? This is what the chart's going to look like. Sorry, I saw a way to try to predict a little bit better. I didn't see that before. All right. Bye, 3M. JP Morgan Chase. JPM. Oh, everybody's tanking today. All right. So JP Morgan Chase at the beginning of today, who knows, is swampy here, not so swampy. What the hell were they doing in 2018? So, ironically, oh my God, it just looks like JP Morgan Chase is benefiting from Trump, from the decrease in the corporate tax rate. A little bit. What the hell? But they have a little bit of pharmaceutical. I think when I'm calling it the Christmas isn't canceled only, wait a minute, no, this is July. It's early January. What the hell? Oh yeah. August. They have a peak here in November, 2021. Yes, this is the Christmas isn't canceled, just the pharmaceutical swamp. They have a little bit of defense contract. But that money went to a lot of things too. I mean, just it doesn't mean their pharmaceutical swamp. It's just swampy money, because it was a lot of money going for the fake pandemic. And who knows? But that does have the pharmaceutical peak. But I'm just gonna say it's fine. It should stay on. It should stay on the. Sorry, I can't. Sorry about this, guys. When the thing's in the way, I can't see. All right. What you doing? So JP Morgan Chase is going to come down a little bit, but they're going to go up from pretty soon. They're going to start to climb. Oh yeah, it's going to be another one of these that goes up and then down again. So that I'm predicting that the end of 2024, it's going to be 100 and where it is now, it's going to be 134. So it's one of these that's like they're going to be manipulated on the way, but it's going to be the price. But then you're saying if it's the same price, but it's going to keep it on the Dow, at least it's not going down. It's not going to go out of business. And remember, this is just so it looks like they're like you know, something like that, manipulated. Okay. That looks ugly, but you get the picture. So we're done. We're done with JP Morgan. Bye. JP Morgan. Apple. I'm afraid of Apple because I don't know what the hell they're doing. You know what it could be? Let me just see one more time. Let me take a look and see if I can see something here. Yeah, Apple is... Okay. So let's just do Apple. So there was a... Let me just do this really fast. There was a big shooting. San Bernardino is a swamp area, totally. Tobacco swamp. And also when you're trying to do unemployment checks, all your checks come from San Bernardino. That's where Adam Schiff kind of... He's not from there, but he's very... just very, very swampy. Gay guy, too. Adam Schiff. Big Nazi in Congress. But there were some really good FBI agents that were getting close to getting to the bottom of some tobacco swamp crap going on in San Bernardino. Gay tobacco swamp stuff. That's the headquarters for it. And one way I know is I can't even remember what came first. But there was a big shooting over in Europe, or a big bombing or something, and the people playing there, what was the name of the group? I'm not going to talk about this because I don't remember the names of any of the groups. But they were a tobacco swamp band from San Bernardino, and one of their tobacco swamp songs was San Bernardino Blues or something like that. The San Bernardino Blues? I don't know. But that's all very tobacco swampy. The bombings and the shootings and that kind of mass shootings is all tobacco swampy, and they involve a lot of tobacco swamp. Anyway, after that, I think there were some really good FBI agents who were undercover, and they were actually Muslims, right? And James Comey, who's the biggest gay tobacco swamp piece of garbage in the history of the world, was in charge of the FBI at the time, and he got rid of them, and he said it was the shooting. He said they were involved in the shooting, and it was in San Bernardino, I think. Right? Yeah. It was in San Bernardino. These were FBI agents who were good guys, and they were uncovering a lot of crap going on there, and they were just murdered. And James Comey was involved in that, and they said, oh, they did it. It was like this couple. I think they had a little baby, too. I wonder what happened with the little baby. But they said, oh, they were involved in this mass shooting. It wasn't them. They were trying to prevent it. So they killed these guys, FBI agents. I forget their names. And there's your San Bernardino swamp. And Adam Schiff was right on top of it. Oh, the Muslims and whatever. And a piece of shit came out. And, he championed the whole thing. Because that's where he gets a lot of his swamp money. San Bernardino. You know what? And I found out McDonald's, which is a good company, but they were founded in San Bernardino. So I kind of thought maybe they were a little bit tobacco swampy. Like the other day, like one day, all the media swamp stocks just went up to prove me wrong. And the one company that that was sold that day was McDonald's the most. So I think they have a little bit of tobacco swamp in them, McDonald's, but not. They're still a good company. But when I saw that they were headquartered, or maybe they're not headquartered there anymore. They were just founded there, so never mind. But it's just San Bernardino. Just watch out when people are from there, or things happen there, or stuff's going on, because it's very, very swampy. And, especially like the unemployment checks coming from there. It's just unemployment scams, I'm sure, are going on crazy through the gay tobacco swamp people. So that whole time, it was like the whole big deal was what was on their Apple phones. What was on their Apple phones. And Apple is kind of like, what the hell? Was Apple tobacco swampy? They were trying to keep what was on the tobacco phones from James Comey. Or not. And I don't know if that meant Apple are the good guys or the bad guys. But I am almost leaning toward the good guys at this point. Because I think they were trying to protect these guys or not. They're either very swampy or they're not swampy. So the head of Apple is the gay guy, but he's openly gay, and there's a difference. Okay, I think. He's like Elon Musk. And lately, and also while I'm doing this, Elon Musk is quote unquote fighting with Apple over stuff. And I think it's just a fake fight. I'm sorry, guys. I get the feeling Tim Cook is a good gay guy and Elon Musk is a good gay guy. And I think Trump is with them. So I think this might be a stock that's like Tesla and it's like Eli Lilly. I'm hoping, I could hope, right? I could hope that Trump is using certain stocks to fight off the swamp people. And it could be Apple, but Apple, that's why I don't know from the history, but there was a whole Apple phone thing involving people I'm sure were good FBI agents. They had a little baby and they were undercover and they were uncovering a lot of shit going on in San Bernardino, and Comey killed them and said it was them who caused that shooting. Okay? In San Bernardino. So, tobacco swamp. Big asshole. Comey, guys. By the way, as you remember, he's the one who tried to take down Trump a lot by lying. What a big piece of what a big, like the biggest flushing down the toilet is going to be him if he's still there. They're worse than vampires to get rid of, by the way. It's like you would think Comey failed or went down and he's going to be back in 2024. Comey's going to be back in spades because it's hard to get rid of him 100%. But anyway, so I'm looking at Apple stock and I'm going, what the hell? I don't know what to do with Apple. So, it has a little bit of nothing. What's this? What's September 2018? Actually, it's one of these that maybe went up. It seemed to benefit from the tax break, so it's a good company. And then, look at this, very little. But then it just went flop, and now it has, I don't know. I just get the feeling this could be a Trump thing. It's just it went a little too high. Like it's way up there. It could just be a really good company, but I don't think they're that great. But I just think it's a lot of Trump maybe. So I'm going to kind of just say this. I'm just going to pretend like I don't know anything about it. And this is what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm not afraid of Apple. I'm afraid of predicting Apple because it could be the most wrong. But for these companies, I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say they're way up there because Trump has been buying them to really cancel out the swamp people who are doing this shit. And by I don't know. So it's going to come down. But I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, I do know. Let's just do this. Not even a lot, maybe a lot. Like maybe 125 and then bounce. This is Trump doing this though. Okay, anyway. I don't know. So that by the end of 2024, it should be at 175. It should be at 175, but it's going to be very volatile between now and then. It should be up higher, and it should just stay on the Dow. Good company, I think. I'm just going to go good guy. I'm going to go good gay guy. Say Elon's good gay guy, and they're like playing with each other right now to play with people and Trump. And I hope that's Jared doing all that stuff. Please. One can hope. Hi, everybody. Yes, the light is here, but I'm going to keep going because I just feel like it. Okay, too bad. I even parked on the non-street sweeper side of the street so I don't have to move the car by 8 o'clock because I had a feeling I was going to be doing this for a long time this morning. I woke up naturally at 5 o'clock, which is an hour and a half later than I usually have to wake up, which is 3:30 to go to work. So I slept in and woke up at 5. I got tired. I was going to do it. I was ready to start doing this at 2 in the morning or something like that, but I just got tired and just fell asleep. So slept for 3 hours because people sleep in 3-hour cycles, by the way, but never mind. Apple, IBM, you're up. IBM, let's see what's going on. I think that's a bad company that's just going out of business naturally. So, hello, IBM. So, swampy, and then, what the hell? I have no idea. And then, I don't know. Like, it's just so bad. I have no idea what swamp. It's just its own thing. IBM is doing its own thing in the downward direction. Just get it off the down. It's so freaking ugly, guys. It's just ugly naturally. I don't even know if they're manipulating it. I think they're just being left alone. I think it's being manipulated a little bit, but it's just going out of business, people, I think. I don't know. Just buy. So ugly. I'm just going to say it's way up high. It's manipulated. It should be off the Dow just from being a bad company. It's not even, there could be some swamp involvement. I'm just not seeing it. Look at the 2018, 2020. Could be, I don't know what it is. It's just going out of business. So that by the end of 2024, 2025, it's just like, let's just draw it. Okay. Oops, sorry, that last one didn't, that was no good. Let's try this again. Sorry. I don't know why I'm wasting my time with this. Just do this. Don't even draw what it's going to do. Okay, period. By the end of 2024, it should be $25. Actually, 30. It should be below 50. $30 end of 2024. Like super tanking. Get it off the Dow, people. Get it off the Dow. Done. Buy IBM. See you later. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Procter and Gamble. You're up. Oh, okay, I remember this. So, they're just going along, being a little bit swampy, where they just ignored, like this kind of defense contractor-ish, even though it's Procter and Gamble. I think it would be pharmaceutical. They do have the pharmaceutical peak, but they're fine. But they're just selling every election year, and in the middle here, just to buy. They're just, not a lot. They're just doing it a little bit. You can keep going. Except one thing happened here. So it seems to be tanking. It's tanking because it's an election year, not because Trump. The end of 2017, Trump lowered the corporate income tax rate right here. And they tanked, and you go, oh, no. After they sold for the election year, 2018, to buy their Congress people, they freaking took off. So these guys are competitors of certain pharmaceutical stocks that the swamp has held down. They've held down from the income tax. They're taking off, people. So this is a good company. It's just, I'm not sure how to draw this, but they're just a really good company. They're going to benefit from when Trump comes back. I'm just not sure between now and then, but just to be safe. Like, this is really a good company, people. Okay, but just but I'm not sure what they're going to do. So I'm going to be safe. What am I doing? Okay, tell me what I'm doing. So this one cracked me up because they're like a little bit swampy-ish. I don't think they are. It's just they're on the Dow, so the Swamp Vanguard group is going to control them and sell them, but they could only go down. It's obviously a strong company because they couldn't sell lower than this. So I'm going to go by their regular support lines. Look at even in 2020. I mean, I'm just saying that in 2020, look at this, the real support in 2020. This is what they're going to do when Trump comes in. That's the slope of Procter & Gamble. When Trump comes in, this is what Procter & Gamble is going to do because of the income tax rate. Like if they just keep going, which they seem like, I'm sure. So for now, I'm going to stay safe because I don't know what the swamps are. We're not in inevitable world peace yet. We're not in the Trump slope, but that's what it's going to do. This is what all good companies are going to do when Trump comes in and inevitable world peace and we get rid of the swamp crap. But for now, I'm going to stay safe. Oh, this is bad. Actually, I'm not going to predict it's going down there. That's no way. This company's just doing too well. I'm going to do a different line. I'm going to do this line. The lowest Procter & Gamble is going to go is $200, but I'm going to say that they got to sell it a lot. It's got the pharmaceutical swamp in there, though. All right. Come on, make a decision. Let's go. People are waiting. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. What is that doing? Okay. Just like, okay. Make a decision. Let's do it. By the end of 2024, Procter & Gamble is going to be 160 and going up. And after that, when Trump comes in, it's going to take off. Like, just keep Procter & Gamble on the Dow, and just, if you're interested in really long term, 10-year, whatever, just the Procter & Gamble is great. 160 by the end of 2024. Okay. All right. Good company, I think, just from the stock. All right, Procter & Gamble. American Express, you're up next. American Express. Oh, this one cracks me up too. But this is less funny. This is defense contractor, and it's very swampy because you can see it's pronounced. It's like, remember Procter & Gamble? It's just a little bit. But these guys are just heavily, and it's because Berkshire Hathaway owns them. And I've just decided, was just very swampy. They have a little bit of a pharmaceutical peak here. It's not even defense contractor swamp peak, which cracks me up because it's like, what the hell? They're both. So I'm not sure because the defense contractor swamp hasn't tanked yet. American Express might be in bad shape. When the defense contractor swamp stocks start to tank, hello everybody. Whatever. All right. So this is. I just think American Express should be taken off the Dow just because it's just so swampy. Like, look at this. But until then, let's just do this. It's one of these where I'll say if they break through this line, it's all over. So keep an eye on American Express. Right now, let's just draw what it's going to do. Okay. Up and down, up and down, up and down. So, in 2023, if American Express, which is going to go down right now, breaks below 100, it's all over. It's going bankrupt. Okay, or it's going to, whatever, spin off, whatever you call it. If it bounces, it's going to be okay. Maybe it won't go as high. Oh, yeah. It's not looking good. There's no way it's going to go up to here and then down to here. This is going to be really a risky call. But I'm telling you right now that Berkshire Hathaway is going to be, that American Express is going to go out of business by the end of 2024. So there will be a bounce. Oh, what I just drew is what's going to happen. Let's do that. What I just drew is what's going to happen. There maybe will be a bounce. It's going to be a bounce here. Okay, so this is what's going to happen with Berkshire Hathaway. All right, so it's going to keep going down, doing this shit, up and down, up and down, up and down, manipulation, until it hits below 100 in 2024, and it's going to break through that line. It might bounce like this, and then it's going to keep going on this slope. So it's going to bounce in 2024 and pretend like it's recovering and go up to 130 and then start to head down again. And that last one is going to break through everything and start to tank. So that by 2024, okay, by 2024, by the end of 2024, Berkshire Hathaway will be below 50 and on its way out, and it should be taken off the Dow. That's a pretty bold prediction, but it's based I got to go by what I'm saying. I'm saying it's defense contractor and it's pharmaceutical, and anything that's two swamps is going out of business. And this is two swamps. It's pharmaceutical swamp right here, obviously. They don't even have the defense contractor. Christmas isn't canceled. Oh, yeah. So that's going to be added. This might just break through now, but at the very least, that's going to be the highest. It could be below 50 in 2023, but at the very least, it's going to be below 50 in 2020 by 2024. Okay, that's my American Express, and that's it. That's my final say. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it on American Express. All right. Okay, Walmart, you're up. Let's do it. Let's see what your grade is. This is funny. It's like I'm a school teacher grading all the stocks. Isn't that fun? Kind of fun. I'm having fun. I'm going to keep going until I get tired. I think I'm going to keep going until this is 2 hours long. Don't care. All right, Walmart, you're up. So, defense contractor a little bit. It could be, so it's like Nike, I think. It's kind of like, what the hell do we do with this? It's Nike. So it looked like it benefited, and no, it looked like it didn't benefit from the tax break. It's the opposite of Nike a little bit. Whatever it is, it's looking like it's okay. Not very swampy. 2020, of course. But what the hell is this? Yeah, this is the China thing. Like, what are you going to do when your number one, factor is Chinese slave labor? That's going to start to switch. A little bit of a pharmaceutical peak there, but Anyway, Walmart is okay as far as I'm concerned. Especially since they got rid of the tobacco advertising at their point of sale. So I'm just gonna go by the lower line over here. It's a little bit oversold, but I think they're gonna be okay. We're just gonna go through and do this one straightforward. By the end of 2024, Walmart will be 160. Oh, it's like where it is now. So yeah, ish. No, 160. Just stick by what I said. 160. Boom, done. Okay. A lot of these, yeah. All right, you're done. Bye. We're done. I gotta go through this a little bit faster. Salesforce, you're up next. You're going out of business. Okay. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about Salesforce. So Salesforce is tobacco because it is based in, it's an online media company based in San Francisco with a gay guy at its lead. And a lot of tobacco, gay guys in charge, like tobacco, okay, this is Salesforce. When I was doing my tobacco stuff, a lot of tobacco companies, a lot of tobacco swamp songs, I call them tobacco songs, advertising songs, would play on the radio, and I noticed this. St. Jude is kind of like a tobacco swamp. St. Jude Hospital for kids and cancer is in Memphis, Tennessee. I also predicted another swamp thing that happens are the lottery tickets. I used to predict what city would get the next lottery because that's all tobacco swamp. All that money goes to the tobacco swamp. They pick people to win the lottery and then they win it and give a lot of the money back to the tobacco swamp. So, the swamp people, they're very good at scams where a little bit of money is taken from a lot of people so you can't notice. They take a little bit of money from a lot of people for the taxes, relatively speaking, a little bit of money from a lot of people for the lottery, a little bit of money from a lot of people for a lot, like, everything having to do with the government. A lot of like welfare stuff has a lot of tobacco scam. Oh, insurance stuff. That's a little bit of money from a lot of people are insurance scams. And when they take the big payoff, it doesn't, like, I don't see it, whatever. That's a big scam, but I don't see it as an individual. So they hide a lot in taking a little bit of money from a lot of people. So tobacco. Just wanted to mention that. That's kind of what they do. But this is the Bart Simpson. Definitely pharmaceutical right there. Definitely tobacco, and they're very close to their 2020 lows, but they've already broken through. Like, I'm not saying they have to break through the low. Like, here's the low in 2020, 139, and they have to break below that. They already broke below that. I'm figuring out lately. They already broke below the support line that involves this, like this support line right there. They've already broken through that. So they're done. They're going out of business. And they're bouncing around there right now, but because they're tobacco and they're pharmaceutical. Why are they tobacco? Because I don't see it in the, like, it's weird. What the hell happened here? I mean, they're tanking, but they're tanking in 2018. What the hell is that? That's not tobacco. They're not looking tobacco here either. But it's just from personal experience. And this is where everybody's going to freak out because it's like, what the hell are you saying? So, every time a tobacco song would play on the radio, either just before that or just after that, there'd be a St. Jude ad for St. Jude's. What the hell is that? So what that is give the St. Jude's, and then the tobacco company will support a tobacco song by putting St. Jude advertisements there. Like, hey, radio station, play this tobacco ad, called Nothing Breaks Like a Heart by Miley Cyrus or whatever. Actually, Paparazzi is the number one, and Ironic by Alanis Morissette, but Paparazzi by Lady Gaga, and Ironic, and I just have, there's like a handful of them that play a lot. And right after the radio station plays this, they'll play an ad for St. Jude's. It's because it's the tobacco swamp telling the radio station, behind the front called St. Jude's, which helps childhood cancer, which is very poignant since women who smoke, I'm going to talk a lot about Salesforce right now. Just hang in there, and I don't care. And the whole thing. Women who smoke cigarettes, or girls, teenage girls who smoke cigarettes, affect their egg cells. It mutates their egg cells because women are born with all the egg cells they're going to need for their whole life. They don't create, like men create sperm and women have egg cells, but their egg cells are there from birth, whereas the men just constantly renew their sperm all the time. It's not like they have one batch and then that's it for life. With the women, it's one batch for life. So when the girls smoke, even as teenagers, they're affecting their egg cells. So they could quit smoking, whatever, 19, they say, okay, I'm done smoking, and never smoke a cigarette again for the rest of their life. They could have a baby at 30, and that baby is from a mutated egg cell from the smoking earlier. So the effects of smoking on teen girls is much harder in the long-term effect of cancer because they're going to have a baby who is cancer prone. So you say, why in the hell can a kid be born with cancer like leukemia and things like that, childhood cancers? It's because you asked their mother if they smoked when they were younger. Even though they didn't smoke, they said, I haven't smoked a cigarette in 10 years. It's because they smoked when they were teenagers. You don't have to smoke all the time. You don't have to smoke when you're pregnant. You just have to smoke once or twice when you're a teenager. And your kid is not going to have absolutely cancer, but that's what the high risk is of cancer. And then when the kid gets older, if they don't have leukemia and all that when they're younger, they'll be more cancer prone into adult. Like there's a bigger chance that they will have cancer in their 30s, 40s, 50s, breast cancer, whatever it is, because that's what the smoking did to the egg cells early on. And that's why China knows this. Why does China know this? Because China has the biggest amount of smokers on the world, like 70% or whatever, but it's all male. None of the women smoke, like hardly any. The amount of women who smoke in China is lower than the number of women who smoke in the United States. So they're going to live a long time. Chinese people live forever. That's why. They don't spank, and their teenagers don't smoke. Okay? The teenage women. And that's why when somebody's smoking, I have a fit when it's either a black or it's a female in these TV shows. And I usually don't have it. If it's the guy smoking, I say, yeah, you're advertising, Deadpool, whatever. But it's still advertising to women, but indirectly. But when the women smoke or when the female singers advertise it and they're singing, that's a huge deal for me. Okay? I really target that kind of tobacco targeting is on women because that's, Chinese know it. They know it already. So good for them. But okay. So, and the tobacco industry knows it too because they tend to put a lot of money into childhood cancer hospitals. Now, it's a swampy purpose. But anyway, when Mark Benioff, and also a couple other reasons, they're tobacco, but then he puts all his money into a children's hospital in San Francisco. I used to deliver beds to both of these places, and it was the children's hospital, and then it became the Mark Benioff Children's Hospital, and I said, well, there you go, tobacco. I'm sure that every time a tobacco song played on the radio, there would be an advertisement for the Mark Benioff Children's Hospital. That's how they promoted the tobacco song. They paid the radio station to play tobacco ads. And they advertised the children's hospital at the same time. Now, isn't that the creepiest thing you ever heard in your life? I just get the feeling when I see Mark Benioff that he's a really nice guy too. So I hate this. He just seems like a really nice guy. And maybe he doesn't know. Maybe there's a lot of gay guys around him. But he's absolutely gay, by the way. And I don't even know if he's open by now. But if you can't tell that Mark Benioff, just from talking, is gay, you need to step out of this recent war. Like, there's a war going on right now, and it's with Trump, and I call it I can't mention the name of it, but it's the war to end all wars. I can't mention the H name that happened during the Jewish quote, and then there's a word that comes after it. And it rhymes with, the cost of things, or whatever. I don't know. But I can't mention that because I can't say those words because YouTube will cancel me. But I call it the the H to end all H's. It's the final war. And right now you need to step out. If you can't tell that Mark Benioff is gay just by looking at videos of his interviews, you need to step out of this war, okay? Like, go take care of your family. Thank you for your help. We don't need you. Vote for Trump. That would be very helpful. But just get out of the way, okay? Or if you attack me for saying Mark Benioff is gay, if you attack me, then you could really go suck. Never mind. I'm not going to swear. But just seriously, you little Nazi, get out of my way. Like, just get out of my way, because we can't, just get out of my way. Okay, Mark Benioff is gay. He's on the gay list. Okay, and he's swampy, and I just hate to think it's on purpose. I hope it's a lot of his gay his gay lovers around him doing this. The swamp people, he probably has a lot of gay lovers around him, but it's very creepy behavior for the tobacco swamp to be involved in so many children's hospitals. But it could also be looking toward the future. They're thinking, well, we're going to be on the hook for this stuff. So how are they going to be on the hook? You need to ask all these women who have babies who are being treated for free by the tobacco industry for their cancers, which are thankfully curable. Maybe, maybe not. Some of them die. But you need to ask them if they smoked as teenagers. You can figure this out right now, whether smoking is actually causing this cancer in the kids. Okay? And they say, and then they'll lie, and what they'll say is, no, I never smoked ever. And they're lying. So how do we know for a fact? And how you know for a fact is you look at their chest x-rays. But whether they smoked or not. Chest x-rays won't lie whether they were smoking a lot, even just a little bit. But if they smoked ever in their life, for instance, they say, I've never smoked. I didn't smoke at all. And then you look at their chest x-rays and they smoked at some point, then you know they're lying, and they're probably lying about when they started, because most smokers start when they're teenagers. So most likely, just from looking at chest x-rays, we could tell who was lying about smoking and who probably were smoking and caused this cancer in their child. So you could ask them directly, and it would be good if they came forward and were honest, because it would help everybody. If these women who have, not the fathers, whatever, it's just the women who have children at these children's hospitals with cancer, did you smoke when you were a teenager? And they'll feel guilty, and they'll say no, or they don't want to, whatever. So they'll lie, but you check the lies from the chest x-rays. Well, when I worked for Transforce, it was kind of a substitute. It's a trucking company that substituted, like if a trucker was out for a while, they'd go to Transforce, and you'd work for a company for a little while as a substitute driver for their company. And I worked for Recall, which was a data, like they'll take your hardcore paper data and store it. It was data storage. And a lot of those, Recall went out of business because a lot of storage went online, so we didn't need these paper things. But what I did for a full year was I took chest x-rays and brought them to a place, chest x-rays out of Recall, and brought them to a place to be destroyed. So all that information is being destroyed. Now, once it comes online, it's hard to delete it that way. So, but they were deleting. So I think a lot of chest x-rays from hospitals were just destroyed and it could be the same. It could be that's why they're in charge of these hospitals. I don't know what, but I think they just were destroyed, and I destroyed billions of them, whatever, millions of them. I brought them to destruction. What am I going to do? Save them all? I just saw what was happening. Even as it was happening, I was thinking they're just destroying evidence right now. But you can't get rid of all of it, and tobacco industry is eventually going to be on the hook for this causing cancer thing. And I proposed that in 2014, and it could be the beginning of the tanking of the tobacco in 2015. Sometimes you see some of this stuff, because I actually tried to work for Kaiser as a researcher back in 2014. Instead of trucking, I wanted to get out of trucking, and become like a researcher. And I proposed a lot of things. Like I said Xanax and Prozac were causing Alzheimer's disease. I said the smoking in teenagers was the cause of the childhood cancer. I said the spanking was the cause of a lot of black this is why blacks are more stressed and die sooner of high blood pressure and all these other medical problems. So you need to stop spanking. You need to stop smoking, especially in teenager girls. You need to stop giving people Xanax. And I also said Prozac, but I'm taking Prozac off the list. I think it's just Xanax because Eli Lilly should be okay. But once all these things catch up with these companies like Marlboro and Pfizer, those companies should be going out of business, but I'm just not sure when. So this is why I think Salesforce is tobacco. Like they're pharmaceutical from the stock. Look at that. That's the pharmaceutical. That's Christmas isn't canceled. Only you peak right there, October, November 2021. And I don't know what this is like. That's so, I don't know what the hell that was. It's just very defense contractor. Like it's almost all three. But they're definitely tobacco because is what I said. And then the other thing is my kids always laugh at this. But when, here's another thing. They built this huge Salesforce building, the creepiest building in the world in San Francisco. It's now the tallest building in San Francisco. And it's just a big cigar. My kids laugh at me. I said they built a cigar because it's shaped like a cigar. And then at the top, they put lights around it. So it looks like a lit cigar, you know. I said, look at that. And then my kids laugh and they, you know, but it does. So I said, of course. And then one time I delivered there. It's just it's the creepiest thing you've ever seen. So if they're going to be, if in the future there's going to be a plane crashing into a building, it's going to be the Salesforce building in San Francisco. Because I tried to deliver there a package when what was I working for? A hospital. I was working for Stryker, which was hospital stuff. It was a medical delivery for Stryker. It was some kind of medical something. I was delivering there, and they have no clue what to do with a delivery package. I was there for like an hour, right? You could park almost anywhere in San Francisco before 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., but come 7 or whatever, you're going to get a ticket. And I eventually got a ticket for parking there, and the reason I remember this experience was the ticket price was $111. So I said, okay, you know me and my numbers. I said, you're going to remember this. This is something very significant going on here. And the significance is I'm telling you about it today. I'm telling you this is a swampy company. And it was very creepy because I went in and tried to deliver something at 6 or something when they were open, and they didn't have a receiving department. There's no receiving department in a building that's the size of, you know, the World Trade Center or whatever. It's thousands of people. And when it opened up, nobody came in. They had these big, it was so creepy. It was the creepiest thing, and it gave me the chills. And the place across the street was creepy. They're just empty buildings, fake place. And you had to, and the person that the package went to, for instance, they said, oh no, you have to call the very person that it's going to, and they come down and get it. Like there's a person on the 13th floor or whatever floor, and if the package is for them, you can't go up to him. You have to wait there, and they have to come down into the lobby and get it. They don't have a receiving department to receive packages. What freaking building on the planet doesn't have a receiving department? It's like they don't receive anything. Nobody works there. The office is empty. It's going to be crashed into, and I would please, like, oh my God, I just had the creeps of all the young kids that I like my daughter's friends and things that are going to eventually work for Salesforce. I remember one of her best friends is like, yeah, I'm going to go to college and then work for Salesforce. And all I'm imagining is a plane crashing into that building when they're working there. Do not work for Salesforce. They're going out of business. They're tobacco swamp, and don't do it. Okay. And period. And even if Mark Benioff is the nicest guy on the planet, they're just going out of business. So period. And this is what I'm doing for them. And even if it's not, I don't care. Don't work for them. It's just swampy guys. Okay. They're just going out, and this is the line I'm going to do. And that's it. They're done. Okay. End of 2024. They're going to be. So Salesforce has tobacco swamp, pharmaceutical swamp, double swamp, and some defense contractor swamp. They're breaking below all their support lines with the 2020 thing, and we're done. They're going to be below 50 at the end of 2024 or out of business. Okay, we're done. I just wanted to say all this because maybe I put it on Twitter. Oh, you know what? I did put something on Twitter and said something like that. I did say it was a very swampy day. I reported that way back, but you can't find it because it's been suspended. But go back to, this was probably sometime in 2016, 2017. Wait, I started working there 2016, 2017, 2018. I worked there for 4 years, I think. 16, 17, 18, 19. I worked there for 3 years. So it was probably around that time. Whatever. Go look Mark Benioff, Salesforce. Go search Twitter once I come back up. And when I come back up, if Elon doesn't completely restore my account, Nicole 3 and Nicole 11, like the two accounts I did mostly since 2014. Before that was just Nicole. There was 3 accounts. And he needs to restore all of them, I think, all the way up. Except I saw Nicole Young. I think I still have access to that account. And I saw the very last tweet I sent, and I didn't like it. It was against my boo. And I swore at her, and I said, if you can't tell the difference between your fake supporters and your real supporters. She was getting a lot of fake support at that time. Your fake tobacco supporters, whatever, and your tobacco swamp hubby and all this. I was just really mean to her for a while, but that was the last tweet. So I don't think I want Nicole Young to come back up. It's just, whatever. It's truthful. It's what I was acting like at the time, and it's fine. It was also like the last tweet I think I ever sent her, because her hubby then came on, went to Twitter, and got my account permanently suspended. So that's why when I swear and I call them names and I say all this stuff, and I'm going to keep doing that regardless, even if you ask me to stop doing that, I don't care, because I have my own personal qualm with this guy from way back. Okay, he's the biggest freaking a-hole. So anyway, even before all this, and I was being nice before, but once she left him, it's like, I was very happy. I was like, okay, tobacco swamp. He's totally tobacco swamp. And he imploded a long time ago. That's why when he swore against Trump, he was very tobacco. He got her to sing at the Marlboro Obama. He got Kelly to sing at the Marlboro Obama inauguration in 2012. I don't think you can get more tobacco than that, people. Anyway, whatever. Okay. And now they imploded. And he's imploded. And now he's trying to live off of her money because he's imploded. But I can't help you, baby girl, with that. I was just thinking, I don't have time to do that. I'm doing the patent stuff. I'm doing some of this. I'm doing the swamp. And then I'm going to write the child support, because she and I are both under child support orders. Can you believe that? I'm living in my car for a year and I'm paying child support. They're garnishing my wages for child support to a guy who makes over $300,000 a year and owns a $6 million house in San Francisco. Flat out owns it. Like it's all paid for or whatever. Okay. And this, I'm paying him out of my almost minimum wage. Actually, I wasn't getting paid minimum wage, and then the minimum wage in LA went up, and now I'm getting paid minimum wage again. Like there's new people coming in, and they're getting paid just as much as I am. The new people coming in, I think. But I'm at minimum wage again, and I'm getting garnished by wages since the first paycheck. Because I told my kids, I don't want to keep stuff for my kids. I'm saying I'm going here and I'm working for Target. They tell their dad, because I don't say don't tell your dad, and they don't kind of get that he's a big a-hole that way yet, and I don't want them keeping secrets from him. He'll ask them, where's she working? And then my very first paycheck, I hadn't been paid in a long time. I'm driving here, half of it was taken because they can only take half. They would have taken more, but like my first paycheck is like $600, and they took $300, and I hadn't been paid, and I was broke too. I really needed that money, and it was like, oh, there you go. I called them up, and they're like, oh, well, we have our ways of knowing where you work. And I said, no. He went to there and told them to start collecting, and then he collects the money and gives it to the guy he's sleeping with. His name is Andrew De La Rosa. I think I already said this on a whatever. So, baby girl, if you want me to do the anti-child support law, a constitutional challenge, just come and pay me. I'll do this stuff for free, but if it's for free, it's going to have to wait. I was just thinking this the other day. I thought, I promised you, I did the pinky swear I'm going to have to wear the ugly ring. But I think you can realize that the stuff I'm doing now is more important than that, probably. Maybe not. But if you want me to do that filing, and I've already done a lot of it. It's out there. It's kind of spread in a lot of different places. Like I wrote about all of it on one of my websites, and it's just I just have to put it into one filing, and and file it. But just pay me as your legal advice, and I'll do it now. I'll do it in one night. But not when I'm doing it for free. When I'm doing it for free, I'm working kind of for the dead people. I'm working for the subconscious. I'm working for the dead people, and they want me to do this stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I have some other stuff to do first, and then I'll get to it. I promise. Because I need them to get off my case more than you do, by the way. Well, you're losing a hell of a lot more money from that swamp stuff, but I'm losing more critical money, like a bigger part of my check, probably. I need that money. What are they taking? Like $100 every. It's like $50 a week. It's not. I got them to go down a little bit. I said take it off, and they went down. Instead of taking it off, they went down from $100 a week to $50 a week. And you say, oh, big deal. Yeah. Well, why don't you work at minimum wage for a while and tell me it's not a big deal? They say it's the principle of the thing, because I owe back child support. I owe like $75,000 or something. That's the tobacco swamp and the pharmaceutical swamp operating in San Francisco against me. That's why I was arrested. That's why they're so swampy in San Francisco. All right. We're going on 2 hours. This one's going to be 2 hours long. I don't give a damn. So that's Salesforce. I just said what they're going to be. We're done. Bye, Salesforce. So because I got a parking ticket waiting like an hour just to deliver. It was a tiny little package. They couldn't handle a delivery person with a tiny little package. Can you believe that? I mean, I was delivering early morning San Francisco that whole time. Like even the smaller places, like what is that? What was the big deal then? All the media companies, PayPal and all these places I'm delivering all these stuff to. And all the food people. By the way, my friend at the time worked for the food people, and she was also going into San Francisco every morning, and we would exchange stuff in San Francisco because we're both there at the same time. And she had it was amazing the amount of free food they have. She would deliver to River, Elon Musk just took over Twitter and he says, "Oh, forget the free food." They were, and I was noticing that they were tanking then because that business was going down too. I forget the name of the business she worked for. But that business was going down too, and I said that's the indication that they're imploding way back when they were stopping this free food for their people all the time, and it was fancy stuff. It was great stuff. Whatever. It just reminded me of the Hunger Games, and it was creepiest when I was in the Salesforce building. It's like that's the Capitol in the Hunger Games. It's just San Francisco. Ugh. Anyway. All right. Boeing, you're next. Come on the chopping block. I think I'm halfway done. Where am I? Boeing's like 14:50, and I'm halfway done. It's going to go faster now, I think. We'll see. Boeing. All right. What are you doing? So, funnily enough, super duper swampy because it's doing the same thing it did in 2011. Look at that. So manipulated. Yet, the funny thing is, I mean, I hate saying this, but it's a true company. They make airplanes. And it's actually going to kind of go up. So, but the thing is, this is what I'm going to say. And they did pierce down below. If it pierced down below some swampy stuff, it's just still weak because it's just so swampy, but they're going to go do. So if you notice this one, it went up and then a little bit down, and then it hit a low in the election year and then took off. So this one's going to hit, up and then down. Oh, it broke below. So, okay, sorry. So, down below the original low. So it's going to break down. Actually, it's going to break down below this, but it's not two different swamps. I'm sorry I didn't do this before. I just changed my mind about something. So then it's going to go straight up. And it might do well under Trump if they can get rid of the swampiness. I'm just going to say that by no. No. Where did it go here? Sorry, people. I'm going to do this right. I'm not going to guess. So, I'm sorry. What am I apologizing for? Suck it. If you don't like this, suck it. So, yeah, I mean, the end result is the Dow needs to come off, and it might be going even. Boeing needs to come off the Dow. It's not going to go bankrupt. It's actually going to do well under Trump. But until then, it's going to go down to. I'm just going to say, it's going to go down. So by the end of 2024, Boeing is going to be down to 50. But as soon as Trump comes in, it's just going to not take off, but it's just going to steadily, it's just going to be a fine company as far as pricing. But right now, I think it's swampy anyway. Maybe keep Boeing on, but I'm just going to say just from the swampy behavior. But so Boeing is going to go down to 50, and I don't see how it can go out of business because there aren't very many. It's just important to our economy. So keep Boeing. It's up to you guys, Dow people, but I'm just saying it's going to be by the end of 2024. It's going to tank a lot. Actually, it's going to be. Oops. It's going to be. Okay, never mind. I hope you didn't hear that. But I forget when I'm in my car. Anyway, in 2024, it's going to be down to 50-ish range, maybe a little bit above that, and then do well. So keep it on because it's just going to be this is one of the reasons Dow is going to be down is all these swampy stocks. It's swampy, but keep it on the Dow, I guess. Boeing's going to be 50-ish in that range, but it's going to tank a lot by the end of 2024. And but then after that, it's going to be fine once Trump gets in. It's going to stop doing this crap. Like this is very swampy, and this has to do with it's just very swampy as far as defense contractor stuff, and it'll stop once Trump comes in. So anyway, it's a real company. It's just way overpriced right now. All right. It's going to look like it's going out of business, by the way. Maybe they break up. I don't see it happening. I think Trump's going to save the company. Oy vey. Okay, bye. That was a risky prediction too, wasn't it? I'm doing a lot of pretty risky ones, but go big or go home. Johnson & Johnson, you're up next. All right, Johnson & Johnson. Let's just do this quickly. I'm not seeing swampy behavior. They don't have the huge. It's supposedly. Oh, they're just involved in the. They're involved in the fake emergency, but not as badly as the other two. Their shot was only one shot, so you didn't have the second shot, which is very swampy because you don't know what's in the second shot, and it's non-anonymous. So it could be a test that says, or whatever. I'm not even going to discuss it because but Johnson & Johnson, I'm going to just say from the graph is the least swampy. It's not swampy. Like I don't see any other swamps there. I don't even see effects of in fact, let me do this. Was this one of the companies that kind of took off? It could be a competitor. Yeah. No, November. Okay, so December. Maybe it did. Oh, it's kind of swampy-ish, but not too bad. I think Johnson & Johnson is a real company that has other products, and maybe they'll get sued, maybe not. I'm not sure. I just don't think their products are nearly as dangerous. I think they might, I think they because the type of product it was. There's something called mRNA. I'm not going to mention anything else, and that's what the swamp people used. And these guys use something different, and it's not as dangerous. Okay. As mRNA, which was very. All right. Anyway, so Johnson & Johnson will be at close to 200 at the end of 2024. Johnson & Johnson is going up. Keep them on the Dow, and it's kind of a Trump stock. I think Trump was really pushing Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and he was also pushing just the company in general. So I think they're okay. They're probably going to do well when he comes in, but they're going to be at 200 at the end of 2024. All right, buy Johnson & Johnson. Chevron, which you now know from what I've said before, is they're both actually they're tobacco. All the oil companies from every corner. Go to a corner gas station now. Go inside and look at the point of sales cigarette ads. They all have them. So they're all both tobacco swamp and defense contractor swamp. All of them are. And they're all tanking. They're all going to go either bankrupt, or there's just going to be huge problems in the oil sector and with Berkshire Hathaway. So Chevron has got the definite Christmas isn't canceled, just the defense contractor swamp peak here. They actually even peaked a little bit. No, this is all that peak. They started to go down, and now they got more money. So they are going out of business. Their ugliest graph of all. I'm being nice here, but by the end of 2024, Chevron stock will be $30 by the end of 2024. Short the shit out of it. Okay. Now I'm assuming this is going to peak here, and it's going to do what the tobacco peak did, and it's just going to start to come down, and they're going to break through all this stuff, but they're done. All right, it's risky, but so go big or go home. Chevron's going to be at 30 at the end of 2024, or out of business or whatever, broken down and spun off and whatever. Gas prices are going to go down too with that. All the gas prices going up, that's your taxpayer money doing that. Okay. I know that sounds funny, but the Travelers. I'm not seeing swamp here. They definitely did not like they were definitely being favored with the income tax rate before Trump came in. And why they have a pharmaceutical swamp component, I don't know. A little bit of one. And they do have a slight pharmaceutical peak and a slight. I just don't know. What the hell? Like, slight swampy behavior from all three swamps. So they're way oversold. They came way down too. So I'm not trusting the Travelers. There's not that much. So I'm gonna say, oh God, this is tough, but I'm gonna say they're going to be okay. Maybe. I think once they get rid of their swamp components. I'm not seeing a strong defense contractor component, so it's not like they're going to tank the way Chevron is. But they are way overpriced because of all the swamp stuff going on. And they're going to have to be sold a lot because they're at 185. Oh, no. God. Anyway, the Travelers coming down but not out of business. I say keep them on the Dow. I guess. I don't know. There could be some other less swampy looking stocks that you can do. The Travelers will be at 120 at the end of 2024. Bye. Let's move on. Visa up next. What the hell? Visa, I don't know what that is, but they look like they came down a little bit. It could be the selling off for the 2000 election. But then they look like they kind of took off. They liked Trump. They liked that tax break, so they were competitive. They were competed against. Like the swamp held them down, and Trump kind of freed them. And then they have, like, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. It's like a peak in July of 2021. I mean, that's not even. I don't see any swamp behavior, but I just see a lot of market manipulation. So I think Visa's going to be okay. I think they're going to really take off once Trump comes in. But for now, we're going to say that they're possibly... Oh, they are going to keep going up and down a little bit. They bounced here pretty well, but they're going to be okay. I'm going to say by the end of 2024, Visa's going to be where it is now. It's going to be like 210. Visa's going to be where it is now, 210. But it's not bad. It means they're not going down. And once Trump comes in, they're going to be fine. They're going to take off probably. So for now, they're just being manipulated until Trump comes in. But they're not going down. They're not going out of business like some of these other things. Or at least like tanking a lot. All right, Visa. Honeywell, you're next. Honeywell. Honeywell is a little bit defense contractor. I know they're defense contractor, but what did they do? Oh, they didn't like the tax break. So they were defense contractors who were getting tax breaks, and they're getting kind of the pharmaceutical bounce here, and a little bit of defense contractors. So it's a little bit. It's not. Yeah, it is a lot. Okay, so this is one where I'm gonna just like. Wow, what the hell? How much of you are defense contractor? You didn't do a big thing against Trump though, but you were taxed. It's not a big. Honeywell you might need to take them off because they're, I don't know. So Honeywell's going to do okay, but they are going to be manipulated a lot over the next, and they might break through. I'm saving sometimes if they break through this barrier, then I've got to see. I don't know because the defense contractor swamps or half swamps haven't tanked yet, so it's kind of hard to see what they're going to do. Okay, you need to get out of my way, this thing. So this guy needs to come over here. Sorry, guys, but not sorry. I want to do this right. Okay. Honeywell deserves my full attention for people interested in that stock. That's all I'm saying. You know, I go through all this stuff. I need to give them my full attention. They were tanking so I could pick whatever I want. It's looking bad. In 2024, Honeywell will be 175 and do okay. They're going to bounce. They need to get rid of their swamp stuff. Honeywell will bounce, but I would take them off the Dow. That's too risky. They might break through in 2024. In 2023, if Honeywell breaks down below 150, they're going to go down, and they're going to go down to 150. And if they break down below 150 in 2023, all bets are off. They're done. But if they bounce off 150, they're going to be okay. They're going to end up at 175 at the end of 2024, and then once Trump comes in, if they survive this, they're going to be okay under Trump, and they're going to do well. And that's that. I'm done. Okay, I just really need to get on here. Okay, Honeywell. Caterpillar, you're up next. As we climb up as the prices of these stocks are going up higher, you notice I went from Intel. Now we're up into 233. They're way more manipulated on the Dow. These are from the price of their stocks. So this one's totally swampy, but they didn't go below. Hold on, let me check something. So they didn't like. I can't tell if they didn't like the tax break. It's a defense contractor. And then they're doing this kind of garbage here. They're going up, defense contractor, swamp, but no other swamp though. Thing is, Caterpillar is 100% one kind of swamp. I don't see any other swamps in there. So they're going to be okay, but they are definitely manipulated. This needs to go away. Sorry, not sorry. You need to get out of my face. So, they're very swampy right now. But they're going to be sold, but then be okay. They're going to be sold for because once the defense contractor swamps start tanking, so Caterpillar is going to hit. What the frig? Caterpillar in 2023 is going to go down as low as 100. Okay, but then they're going to. If they break below 100, then all bets are off. But then if they bounce, then they're going to be okay. Wait a minute. That's not true at all. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I want to get this right. Is that their 2020? Whoa, baby. Caterpillar might have been doing well, like just a legitimate company. So I'm going to go with this line. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. All right. I just want to get it right. And I didn't look at Caterpillar before that this well. Get out of my face. Caterpillar is going to go down, and if it breaks down, this might be a really good stock, but just being highly manipulated. But Caterpillar is going to go down in 2023. it's not doing that. I'm just, okay. 2023. If it breaks down below, if it breaks down, it's going to tank because the defense contractor swamp is way up there. But it's going to go down to 125 in 2023. It's going to tank with all the rest of the defense contractor, kind of swampish. If it breaks below 125 in 2023, all bets are off. It's going down. It's possibly out of business. If it bounces, it's going to be at 150 at the end of 2024, and then when Trump comes in, it's going to do well. So I got to watch a couple of these stocks, and I'll put a little note by it. But I say it's going to bounce. It's going to go down a lot, but it's going to bounce at 125, and Trump's going to come in, and then it's going to be okay. So up to you, Dow. But a lot of these defense contractors, swamp stocks, are going to tank before the coming up. Caterpillar is one of them. Very manipulated, very overpriced right now. All right. But a good company underneath, it looks like. It looks like they started to do really well, but not that well. Microsoft, you're up next, you swamp piece of garbage. I can't stand them. I can't stand Bill Gates. Probably going to be known as the Hitler of this generation. So, gay Bill Gates, let's see what you're up to. So the thing I say about Microsoft is, what is my main criticism? My main criticism is it's the Stepford Wives chart of all the graphs. It's too beautiful. The only thing that's not beautiful is this, and that is it's a huge pharmaceutical peak. So it's pharmaceutical swamp. And it's not a real company because the product they have is a piece of garbage. It's like the worst. It's the worst. Excel and Word and all that stuff. The only thing making it so well is the really swampy patent laws and he also owns the court system. You could tell when you try to file something and they say, "Oh, Microsoft Word only." It's like, what the hell? What the hell is your problem? At least the federal court kind of got better at that, and now you could submit things in PDF. But all the state court systems and forget the Supreme Court. You can't even file anything online there. You have to file 1 billion copies in paper, like I have the time and the money to do that. And the thing about paper is it's the most easily manipulated. You could just burn it. If you do it online, they can't manipulate it. So the Supreme Court is super duper duper corrupt right now, you guys. It's like at its weakest it's ever been. So when they start accepting filings online, they're trying to pretend like this is anti-swamp, is to make sure it's in paper because they don't trust computers. It's just like, go suck it. Get your heads out of your asses. I would file so many legitimate complaints. Their number one purpose in life is to protect the individual citizen, by the way. That's what they are there for. Because we're not protected any other way in this way, our rights. Because you can say we could vote, but you're not supposed to vote on your rights. You can't vote, and that's what we're doing now because the swamps are making us do that. You have to vote for this candidate who protects only these rights, and then that candidate who protects only those rights. But all these other rights you have to vote depending on what rights you want protected. It's because the Supreme Court has no power to do that anymore. The administrative agency swamp came in, the administrative agency fake government, which is run by the swamp, came in and made sure everything was geared toward them for the court system. And big corporations, every ounce of effort from the court system, the federal court system, is either between states and governments and big corporations. The little guy is just completely the one thing that they're supposed to be protecting. The one lawsuit, and I filed 50 of them, and they were all just, oh, you have to pay $400, you have to do this, you have to put it in this format, you can't do that. It's just like every roadblock in the history of time. And then once you get there, their decision is, oh, the mask is so minor of an inconvenience, and there's no such thing as a right to smile, to communicate. That's what I did, the right to smile. It's like, it's the First Amendment right to communicate a smile to somebody else. is being, and you say, oh, well, it's such a little inconvenience to wear a mask for 2 years everywhere you go. It's not, that's what they say. These little peon pieces of garbage, they're just law school interns that they put in charge of what's called pro se constitutional challenges, which is the most important, according to the Constitution. It's the First Amendment. It's the one that everybody forgets. The funny thing was, I couldn't believe this. What's her name? Amy Coney Barrett. She's getting grilled by Congress for her confirmation hearings, and he says, "What's in the First Amendment? What are the rights in the First Amendment?" And the most important, one of the most important in the First Amendment, is the right for a pro se single person like me, lonely, without a lawyer, to file a constitutional challenge, to complain about a law being unconstitutional. And that's the most important. It's protected. It's called the right to petition the government. Petition is a lawsuit filing. It's not standing out in front of, what do you think? You think that the framers of the Constitution said, you have a right to stand out in front of a company or in front of a government office with a little petition marching around? That's not what petition means. Petition is a filing. It's a written filing in the federal court system. That's the right to file a filing in the federal court system complaining about, it's called right to petition for petition grievances to the government, against the government. Now, the grievances could be against other corporations, but not really. It's against the government. So a pro se constitutional challenge, which I filed 50 of them against the masks in all 50 states. I drove across the country, went to every Walmart everywhere, and filed all these, and they were all like the most craziest, stupidest. It's just what it was it's for future students of how Holocaust happened, just to show how weak the federal government was. But when Amy Coney Barrett goes in and she goes, oh, I don't know, it's the right to free speech and the right to this, and she doesn't even mention the most important right, which is the right to petition the government, the right for me to file a lawsuit. She doesn't even know this. This is somebody going up on the Supreme Court. She doesn't even know that the most important of all the rights, it's in the First Amendment, which is, it's the First Amendment for a reason. It's like the number one thing on the framers' brains for the most important rights to be protected. And she doesn't even know the 5 that are listed there or whatever it was. And then the congressperson says, oh, you missed the right to petition the government. You missed the right to he thinks that petition the government. So not only does the Supreme Court person, the top nine lawyer in the whole country doesn't even know her function in the top court in the country, right? To get on there. Okay, but then the congressperson who's supposed to be Mr. Constitution, Ben Sass, piece of garbage, whatever it was, he goes, oh, you missed the right for people to complain in a protest. You forgot the right for people to protest, and he meant to petition the government. It means the right to protest, and that's under the amendment. It's under the right to assemble, and it's under the right to free speech. Those are protesting. That's like when you're assembling with a sign that says, oh, this, that. That's free speech, and that's assembly. Those are already protected. And he said the right to petition is under those rights. He didn't even the congressperson, who's supposed to be the big constitutional expert, didn't get it right. So the confirmation hearings for Amy Coney Barrett were very telling in what's going on with the Supreme Court. And also after that, I believe, or I think during that, I forget when she came in. She came in at the end of... Oh, my alarm? Oh, that's, never mind. But anyway, I was already exposing how weak they were just by, you could see it. It's in one of my filings, all 50. You could see all the 50 filings, and they would say, oh, no, you have to pay, or they would dismiss it by the standing, which is stupid. Of course I have standing. And they would say, or they wouldn't say, they would say, oh, your right to smile isn't an important right. And I got to put that together. I took a picture of all the I'm into fortune cookies. I eat a lot every day, but all the fortune cookies that mention a smile. Actually, let me do this right now. Sorry. Let me do this real fast. Where is it? Just for the heck of it. I took a picture of it. So I did all these. Oh, here they are. I re-updated it. I don't know if you could even see this. I don't even care. Let me try this. I have to. It's hard for me if I'm on Twitter. Anyway, if you look at that, and it's all the fortunes that mention the right to smile, like the importance of a smile in communicating. You know? Oh, wait a minute. Let me do that. Sorry. This is all of them. It's like 16 of them or something. And I want to post that. I was going to post it in the lawsuit over that, but I just decided there's too stupid. Your smile brings happiness to others. Your smile lights up a room. Smile like you mean it. You light up the room with your smile. A personal mystery will be solved with a smile. Make someone smile today and feel your heart smile too. I'm just reading them all. Your troubles will cease and good fortune will smile upon you. Your kindness, your endless happiness will bring a smile to a familiar face. A wink and a smile will brighten someone's day. You will discover the importance of a smile. Actually, there's a series. You will discover the importance of a smile. You will learn the value of a hug. You will learn the value of a kind word. These are all fortunes from Panda Express. So it could be somebody making it up. It's true. But it's just showing you that our culture, at least, thinks a smile is important. But that one shows 3 different ways Panda Express is communicating goodness to somebody else. Now you could do a frown too. I just picked a smile, but you need to communicate a frown, like mothers to their kids and things like that. A big part of your communication isn't just verbal. So a right to smile and the mask mandates were violating a very important First Amendment right. And I had a right to at least be heard and not be dismissed, summarily dismissed. It's called being dismissed summarily, which means they just make the decision right there without even putting it out to the people or for debate. And it was just a law school intern, because that's who they put in charge of these things. They just put a law school intern in charge of the most important filing in the federal government and tell them, get rid of it any way you can. Then nobody, not even a judge, looks at them, because they're too busy doing quote unquote more important lawsuits against big corporations. Oh, so important. And all these garbage lawsuits that Congress made 50 billion laws. So everybody's constantly being sued in garbage lawsuits. Meanwhile, the whole reason the Supreme Court exists, which is to protect me from these fundamental rights, and that lawsuit is dismissed. Anyway, a frown keeps others away, so smile freely. Call a friend, your voice will bring a smile. Good fortune smiles upon you, and your familiar smile will help a troubled family member. So, I mean, apparently Panda Express and, old Chinese fortunes, I guess, think a smile is a pretty important way to communicate. But the Supreme Court doesn't believe it. Not even the Supreme Court. The little freaking law school intern zit-faced piece of garbage that they put in charge of this. And I'm just saying, I'm really kind of like upset. I'm saying that the system is corrupt, and we can't have, law school interns decide who are ordered to get rid of your stuff, make up crap just to get rid of the most important lawsuit. So the court system needs to change dramatically. Okay, but that's why Trump just gave up. Like, I don't think he's going to use the court system. I had this whole system of why the Supreme Court can take down the 16th Amendment, and Trump knew a long time ago. He just said he bypassed that. He's going to use Congress to do that. So he knew that. He's smart. Maybe the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court is very, very weak. The whole court system is very weak as far as protecting rights. We are beyond fascism right now, people, because you have no protection of your rights. Okay? So you better vote Trump. No, it's going to happen anyway. I'm just saying that the fascists, it takes a lot of money to run fascism, and it's unsustainable financially. So once we end fascism here, it's going to be ended across the whole world. We have to lead the way, and we are, and it's going to happen with or without Trump, with or without any of this stuff. It's just fun being on this side of the battle and making it happen better and safer, so that we're not having huge amounts of problems. But they're crashing right now. Trump's going to do it so that we come in with a safe landing, so that a majority of the people, because trust in the government, you can't run any kind of we can't do peaceful self-governance without trust in the government. So Trump's going to do it while 98% of the people don't even know what happened. It's like we're going to transition. The 16th Amendment's going to be taken out. They don't even know what it is. then all of a sudden we have sustained world peace, and nobody can understand what the hell happened. That's because what you need more than anything when you're doing peaceful self-governance is trust in the government. So I can't, when I'm doing these things, I don't want everybody to know about it. I'm just like, I swear a lot. I just say, go take care of your family. Don't worry about it. If you can't tell who's gay, if you don't believe me, whatever it is, just don't bash Trump and don't bash me. Let us do our thing. Focus on your family. Everything's going to be okay. But you need to keep, when they're bashing me, they're trusting the government in a way. And that's a good quality to have. And you need to keep that quality. That's why I'm like, it's not the little, I say non-gay dumbass moron. I'm talking about people in positions of power. And when I say gay Nazi, I'm talking about people in positions of power. I'm not talking about all gays and all non-gay dumbass morons, like my workers, my coworkers and things like that. They have strong beliefs in their masks. I don't. It's like, wear the mask. Like, they want to follow the law. And they are. Okay? So follow the law. I don't want those people losing their trust in the government. Okay? Because when we get to the other side, trust in the government is everything. And this is what the Nazis do best. Right now, on their way out, they're making sure that people lose the trust in the government. So all this stuff, you need to make sure 98% of the people out there who followed the laws and do all this stuff, they're not non-gay dumbass morons. Okay, just the people in the media, and they believe the people in the media, though that's going to be going out the window soon too. But just vote Trump and get on with your life. But anyway, it's very frightening a little bit. If Trump weren't here, I'd be very frightened of what's going on with the court system. But Trump is here, and he has a lot of people in place in case he becomes assassinated. I'm sure he's got everything in place, and we're heading there anyway. It's just, I want to head in that direction and get to the other side. And when I say Godspeed to everybody getting out the other side in one piece, PEACE, this is what I'm hoping for, because it could get ugly. I know the other side, we're getting there, because you can't, there's no way, you can't sustain, there's no sustainability to fascism. Where are they going to get the money? For all this time, they were getting the money from American taxpayers. We've been subsidizing socialism and fascism across the world until now. Now we can't do it anymore. Okay, we're done. It's done. You can't keep that up. So now we're doing it, and now the money is running out. The swamps are all. This is all coming to a head like crazy. That's it. I think the last big bill. So we had all these bills, $50 billion for this, and all this money going toward the swamp stuff, and all this money, $60 billion to global warming. Like, what the hell? That's the end of that stuff. We're out of money, people. All that money disappeared immediately. It went into stocks that are now tanking. It went to all across the country, all across the world, all these countries that are like suffering. They're going to blame it on, the fake other emergency, but we're just repositioning. But when we come out the other side, all those other countries are going to have to follow a constitution like our original constitution, which protects everybody without the 16th Amendment. None of them do that. They're going to have to do that, or they're just going to fall. They're just going to fail. So they're going to all have to adopt our original constitution or something extremely close to it that protects all the fundamental. Like, these are fundamental laws of peaceful self-governing. It's like physics. You can't. It's like, oh God, I wish I could fly, so I'm going to change the laws of physics, and so I can fly. That's what they're doing. It's like, no, you can't. Oh, I like fascism, so I'm going to change the laws of peaceful self-governing and become a fascist and run everybody this way. You can't do it financially. All these countries that did it, China and all these other, they had to get all their money from these huge trade imbalances. $400 billion a year coming from the United States to support the communism there. You say, we need to make communism fall. Well, I'll tell you what, do the trade, level out the trade imbalance, and that's what Trump did, and that's the fastest way to do it. So anyway, why did I go off into this rant? Because it's 8:24. This is going 2 hours. I don't care. Go to 3 hours. I don't know what the limit is. I don't give a flying hoot. I'm going to keep going. So this is what I say. I say, because this is what I finally decided to do with Microsoft. Biggest effing swamp in history. Biggest effing Nazi in history, probably, from all the deaths he caused. So I'm saying, Bill Gates, I'm gonna nail him for 50 million deaths worldwide. That's nothing. I think they said Hitler was 6 million. Bill Gates is 50 million worldwide. Why? Because he caused an economic collapse that killed everybody. Okay, nobody died. They'll say, "Oh, this many people died." That's all. That stuff is readjustments of populations that were all over. That stuff is fake. All the people who. Okay, I can't say this because I'm gonna be. So this is what I'm gonna do with your freaking swamp stock. I'm gonna say you guys kind of. It doesn't look like it tanked, but I'm gonna say in the summer of 2019, Microsoft leveled off. So that's where I'm counting it. That's where I'm counting their, because I feel like it. I don't care. This is one of the most dangerous of all. You don't have to believe me, but this is more wishful thinking than anything. So, and even then, it's not bad. I mean, they should be going out of business. Freaking, they don't have a product. They're so swampy. And sorry about that. Well, whatever. The thing is, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be very close. Let me do it right. I'm sorry. You swamp pieces of garbage. Freaking. And this is everybody's. This is, the woke people. This is their God. We all want to be like Bill Gates. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I just got through saying I'm not going to pick on the little people who trust in this stuff. But at this point, if you're still trusting in that, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. It's like, I kind of don't feel sorry for them so much. Especially if you're bashing Trump along the way. I really don't take kindly to people who are bashing Trump these days. Okay. At the end of 2024, Microsoft, which should be completely removed from the Dow. Total creepy, too perfect. I mean, it's just, this part is just too perfect. There's no evidence of any kind of swampism in there. Should be at, and after all that, it's only going down to 120, something like that, and it's going to bounce and then probably do okay, or maybe not. They should be out of business. It's like a super swampy company. I'm just not sure when. So I'm going to play it safe and say they're going to, and even that is not. I'm going to say they're half where they are now. 120, piece of garbage. They should be gone. I hope they go out of business. But it looks like they're very, very powerful as far as deeply entrenched in swamp. Oh, by the way, Bill Gates is completely broke. Trump made sure of that by tricking him into shorting Tesla, and probably Eli Lilly too. But he tricked him into shorting Tesla, and he invested a huge amount, and then Trump ran up Tesla stock way through the roof. It's just like, I already mentioned this before, and I think Bill Gates probably lost upwards of like 30 billion or 60 billion. He lost his full fortune. If not, then a big chunk of it. So you shouldn't be giving money to Bill Gates because he's broke. Just letting you know, okay? And his company is also going out of business because they're just swamp pieces of garbage, killing 50 million people worldwide. And I'm putting it on him. Period. I can remember when I was working way back and he was going in, like I was at University of Washington. I was interviewing for a professor position there, and they were all into, at the University of Washington, they were all into Bill Gates giving him all this money for stuff. And it was like some of the swampiest scientists, like, oh, we could do this. It was like such fake science. It was just very swampy medical. Like, we're not allowed in the real science field to cite any kind of, Journal of the American Medical Association and stuff like that. We can't cite any of those journals. They're just swamp. Even in, what was this, like 1994 or 5, around that area, in the 1900s. You can't submit something to like Science and have any kind of citations that are from the medical journals. They're just so fake and made up, and it's just BS. And now that's all we're basing everything on. the Journal of American Medical Association and all these swamp journals. I'm trying to publish in the swamp journals right now, and they it's just so bad. Like, I can't even get my stuff published there. And I can't believe I'm doing that. I tried. I actually tried. I didn't try science. Whatever. I published it online. That's all. That's what's going to be it, because you can't. It's hard nowadays to publish anything that's real, even in the media. But I published it. I think it came down. It was on Twitter. I have to put it up, guys. I'm going to put it up. I call it Epic 2. And I'm also going to read it. It's going to be Music of the Night Part 5. I'm just going to read the whole paper. Because I don't think they're gonna say you have to cut it in half, and there's only black and white, and blah blah blah, and there are all these criticisms on this one guy in October. It's like, it has to be Microsoft Word and all of these. Like this email is 20 miles long. I said, yeah, okay, I'll get to it. And then when he said it has to be in Microsoft Word format, I said, okay, this is just a trick. They're just trying to get me to put this paper there so they could tear it apart and make me waste my time, and then just say, because it just looks like they found it out how important it was and decided to try to torpedo it or do something. I just want some real scientists to critique it, and I can't seem to get it out to that point. So I'm going to try for these guys and see what these scientists say, but doesn't look like there's any real scientists. I want real statisticians. I need help on, I'm not perfect. I mean, it was solid as it could be with the information I had. It's not like real science when you're doing this stuff, but it was still like really a great paper as far as completely exposing the entire fake emergency. It was a fantastic paper. And I'm telling them, this is going to be the most cited paper your journal ever sees if you just publish it this way. But it's just all these it's interns and little zit-faced nobodies that are told to just get rid of this stuff because I'm not, it's called Evidence-Based Science is the name of the journal, because the biomedical, whatever it is. And I said, what kind of a journal title is that? What other kind? Evidence-Based Medicine. And I had to laugh, like, are you joking? What other kind of medicine? Evidence-based medicine. That's the title of the journal, just to laugh. And then I looked it up, and it turns out there's something called eminence-based medicine, meaning you don't look at the actual evidence or the science. What you look at is the eminence of the person saying what they're saying. And if they have a lot of degrees, then you believe them. And apparently this is a real thing. It's not frowned upon. This is like and I know this is what happens. I know that what happens, but we should be criticizing it, not saying that's the way it should be. There's actually an argument out there, and that's what this whole fake stuff was. It's like exposing why that is the wrong way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. You don't do, this person has a lot of degrees, so therefore they're eminent because people said they were. The swamp said they were. So therefore, we should be killing 50 million people worldwide because of what they say. That's exactly what we did, people. So, but anyway. Shit. This isn't going to be allowed, but whatever. Screw you, Google, YouTube. Anyway, they're going down. What did I just say? I just said that we're done. We're done with them. What's after Microsoft? McDonald's. Okay. Founded in San Bernardino, but they're headquartered elsewhere. So let's do McDonald's stock. Okay, you're up next. MCD stock. Maximum. We're going on 3 hours? Don't care. All right. Maybe I'll stop when I'm done with the Dow, and I'll do the other stocks in another tutorial later. So, founded in San Bernardino, but their headquarters are now in Chicago, which is also swampy. But I'm not seeing big swamp stuff here either. I think it's like a legitimate company, but they're a little bit overpriced because they did dip. Look at that. They did take a dip in January, and I think it was possibly they were favored because this is why I'm thinking they're a little bit swampy. At least it's because their stock price is so high, by the way. But there was a day on November 11th, 2011, where the media swamp stock people were on to me, and I said, you guys are imploding, and they wanted to prove me wrong. So they really got all 8 stocks I was highlighting and made them go up really high, all on the same day, when they used to have to sell one to get the other one up, and there was up and down, and I said, you will never have them both together. And they had to pay a lot of money to do that, by the way. And that's part of the thing is I don't care. Prove me wrong, but you're going to have to pay for it. And they paid a lot of money. It was very important that they prove me wrong at that time for some reason. But then I said, okay, 11/11 was the last day you're going to be able to do this. But what happened on 11/11, I think I recorded it. It was McDonald's was sold like crazy. I forget what day what is this? November? It was like the most sold stock. They had to sell all of McDonald's practically that day to make sure. And the Dow went down, I think, I think the Dow went down so they could say all these media swamp stocks outperformed the Dow and they went up and all this stuff. It was such BS, but it was McDonald's leading the way on that one. Or maybe they went up. I forget what happened. It seems like McDonald's was involved in trying to prove me wrong on the swamp stocks. Anyway, that's what I get in the back of my head is it's just manipulated, but it's just because it's a high price stock. I think it's an okay stock. Some of these stocks are okay. They're just manipulated a lot by the swamp people. It's not their fault. They're just manipulated, but they're overpriced. I think that's the real price of them. Maybe not. I don't know what I feel like doing with McDonald's. Because I like McDonald's. I eat a lot of McDonald's, so guess what? I'm going to, because they don't look swampy, so I'm going to say that this was a fake down too. Like they downed it as much as they could, but I don't think that's a real down slope there. I'm just going to say it. I don't care. I want to get this right, and I just instinctively feel like it's not going to be. Maybe they are. What are you going to do? Decide. I'm going to say that's the real low of McDonald's, and they were oversold for a while. But they're a good company. And I'm not sure about this. You know what? I'm going to be conservative here because I am going to say it's a good company. Oh, no way. I'm saying they're going down to that, though. 269. I'm going to say that McDonald's at the end of 2024 is going to be at... I just got to stick by my guns here and do the graphs, and that's it. I'm sorry. 240. But it's a good company. Keep it on the Dow. 240 for McDonald's. Oh, that's not much lower than it is now, so it's not bad. It's going to be 240 by the end of 2024. I wasn't going to go much lower than that, people. That's the end of the deal. And I didn't even favor them. I gave them like the worst case scenario. So that's the worst case scenario for McDonald's. Amgen. So you're up, Amgen. What are you doing? Oh, they're leveling off. I don't know what happens. People have to look at the company. I don't know why they're leveling off in 2015. And there's hardly like... Oh, they went down a little bit with the drug pricing thing for Trump's drug pricing, but not a lot. And then the Dow didn't. They're fine. I don't know what they're doing now. They got a little bit of I don't know why they're getting again. A lot of these pharmaceuticals that didn't get the Christmas isn't canceled pharmaceutical swamp peak, except you at the end of December are getting defense. Christmas isn't canceled, just you defense contractors peaks. I don't know why that is. It's international. Something's weird going on there, but that's fine. I'm just noticing that today, so I don't know what to say about that. I'm just telling you that it's swampy in that it's a high price stock, so it's going to be manipulated a lot. Oh, that's why. Maybe they're trying to, I don't know why. Because they're going to need to sell it maybe coming into these elections. I don't know why, but a lot of okay. So Amgen is another one of these companies that I was buying Amgen products all the time, Merck and Amgen. And when I was in the lab, we were constantly ordering these from various whatever. They had enzymes, they had all sorts of stuff, biomedical stuff. And it was good stuff, so whatever. So they're legitimate companies. It's just they're just getting the swamp treatment. Amgen should stay on. They should be okay, and they will be at... they might go down because they're overpriced, but they're still going to be fine. They're going to be at 250 at the end of 2024. Okay, bye, Amgen. You're done. Next up, who do we have? Amgen. We're almost done. Home Depot. I'm going to end it, and maybe I'm going to end it and call this the tutorial number 4, and then I'll do tutorial number 5, which will be the media swamp stocks and all the other swamps I mentioned. That's going to be probably an hour as well. But I just want to talk about stuff that comes up while I see it, and I'm not going to shorten it. Okay, next up, we're going to do Home Depot, which is highly manipulated. You saw it before. It's like, let's just do Home Depot stock. Another pretty good company, but why is Home Depot getting a pharmaceutical peak? I don't know. And Christmas isn't canceled. It's a long, I gotta get an acronym for that. The Christmas isn't canceled, only the pharmaceutical swamp peak at the end in November of 2021. All right, so let's see what it's doing. 2017, August of 2018. What the hell is this? I don't know what the hell. I think that might be the real price of it, and it's just because it's such a high price stock, but it's a little bit swampy. But maybe they'll get rid of it. Oh, I know why. Oh, you know what? If you had told me, if you had forced me, if you told me a while ago, you said, oh, I remember what I was going to say about Home Depot. I think my mom used to call it that. She's so funny with her accents. The Home Depot. What the hell is the Home Depot? Her French. I have a whole routine about her accent on certain things. The gonorrhea and stuff. I think I posted that already, so we're set. When I was delivering, if you forced me before looking at anything, and you said, if you were to assign Home Depot, if you said it comes from a swamp, which swamp is Home Depot from? I would say the pharmaceutical. Oh, that's why it has a pharmaceutical peak. Duh. Okay, I know. Okay, I knew this already. So I knew this before it has a Why does it have a pharmaceutical peak? Well, why do I think it comes from the pharmaceutical? Duh. God, I forget all this. Okay, so it's such anecdotal, but it's just my brain will have these little things, and they collect it, and then it comes out later to be true. Okay, and people will call that confirmation bias. And it's like, no, it's just called science, and it's called collecting data and, paying attention to patterns. Okay, so, and you have to know that it's a fake emergency to get this information. I know it's a fake emergency. So when I'm delivering, and also I remember it was so poignant because I was delivering to the Home Depot up in Idaho. Was it in Boise? No, it was the Heart of the Owl. What's that called? Darlene? Heart of the Owl, Idaho, where they recently had shootings, by the way. It's kind of swampy up there. Every time there's a shooting, there's something to do with the Heart of the Owl. And I think they're trying to say that people from Heart of the Owl are like, but I was in the Heart of the Owl, the Wisdom, in my truck, doing the most important finishing touches on Epic. And I'll show you, like I just said, I was on and I went to Home Depot and they said, I'm sorry, we can't take you tonight. We can only take you tomorrow night or something. So I'm sitting at Home Depot for 24 hours. It's just like now. It's like, I've got time. I'm going to work on this, and this is it. I'm done. I'm going to finish. Like, I have my little passions. And I said, I'm going to finish Epic right here. And it was the most important part of Epic, like the last 11 pages of it. And I did it there in my truck. The first part, I did it in Tumwater. I did it at the Pilot in Tumwater, Washington. I had a 24-hour break, and I said, I'm going to do it. And I thought I finished it, but I really didn't. The most wisest part of it, the wisdom, I did in the Heart of the Owl. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know it was called, I'm French, and I didn't know it was called Heart of the Owl when I was there. But afterwards, I looked back and I said, oh, well, that was quite appropriate. I did it at the Heart of Wisdom. I did the most important part. But while I'm there, I go into the Home Depot, and they're like, no. They were the biggest Nazis on the mask stuff, and on there were huge lines trying to get in. This is Home Depot. You have so much space in the store. Like, they were letting 3 people in at a time. Like, they were purposely making it look like it was a huge emergency. And when did I finish it? This would have been not even 20. This was 2020, because I was with Legend, so it was 2020. And like October of 2020? Could that be right? No, because I wasn't working for Legend. I was done with them in August of 2020. I subconsciously my boo kind of got me fired, but as usual, she always gets me fired. Or I blame her on it, but it's mostly me. So, every time I'm fired, it's like it is connected to my boo in some ways, or protecting her or wanting to protect her. So this would have been spring of at the height of this mask and all this stuff. So sometime in the spring, I'll have to look. You can see it on Twitter because I said this. I said Home Depot is controlled by the pharmaceutical swamp, is what I said on Twitter in like September. So I predicted the pharmaceutical peak in their stock, actually. So not September, I'm sorry, in the spring of 2020, look on Twitter, and I said Home Depot is controlled by the pharmaceutical swamp. And I'll tell you why. Because it is Idaho, which is super conservative. And in my truck, if I'm in Idaho or any of the conservative states, nobody's enforcing the mask stuff. Not like that. And nobody's enforcing the social distancing, all these freaking Nazi pieces. I mean, it's so embarrassing. Our generation, you guys, I mean, keep trusting the government when we get to the other side, but we are so embarrassing to the future children when they're looking at this stuff. It's like, this is how Holocausts happen, and we'll show you, but look at the lines of people, lining outside of Home Depot to go into a store where there's nothing but space. They were letting in 3 people. So that was Home Depot. Lowe's was not doing that. The Lowe's in Terre d'Arlene, and I checked it. I think it's all on there. I said Lowe's is not pharmaceutical. So I was judging companies and what companies were controlled by the pharmaceutical swamp by who was enforcing. I'm doing the same thing now with ABC, CBS. Whoever is enforcing the Nazi mandates the most is most controlled by the pharmaceutical swamp. I was doing that way back in the spring. And you have to know it's a fake emergency to do that. But Home Depot is pharmaceutical because they were in a conservative area. This is Idaho. This is a small town in Idaho. It's not even like Boise where you might get a little bit of... This is small town Idaho, totally conservative. Nobody was following those rules, but the Home Depot people were. And they were doing it in spades at the Home Depot where I was delivering, because I was just going in to see, and I said, forget it. I'm not going to even go inside, because they were forcing the state. There was a long line at like 8 in the morning. They were just making it very visible that there was a big emergency, and this was very serious because everybody could see that there's long lines. They were trying as best they could to increase the drama around this fake effing emergency. Take me down if you want, you freaking YouTube pieces of whatever. I feel like swearing right now because of all the people you murdered over this garbage. Okay, I mean, I get very silly and I get funny and I try to have humor in it, but there is no laughing matter at the number of people who died during this H that rhymes with cost of living. It was an H, and it was a big one, and it's 50 million about, and that's the lower estimate. Why don't you sit on your ass and figure it out in your head? All the poor countries in the world whose economies collapsed, who are already poor, had a ton of poor people, and all the people helping them were taken out. All the American people there, with all the nonprofits helping the starving people in these countries and all the wars, who didn't die, by the way, there's no COVID deaths reported, so maybe they didn't. Maybe Trump did something that helped them in a way that I'm hoping he did. But I don't see how you could do it. And I don't see how you could stop the deaths from being... And they're going to say, like, when we go take a look, we haven't even taken a look, or people aren't even covering this. Why don't you guess how many people died from not getting the aid and the food aid and the economic aid we needed in a lot of these poor countries that were all the, when you say, oh, I'm so glad all those churches were there and all these people helping the starving people and everybody's there helping people who are starving, they were all pulled out of there and their economies collapsed because our economies collapsed. So you tell me, why don't you tell me how many people you think died of starvation because of this BS? Okay, why don't you tell me it's 0 if you really truly in heart of hearts believe that's the number, and why you think that's the number? Okay, because that's the number that died as a result of this H, and it's the last H of all, but it's not going to be a joke in the future. So I joke around a lot, and I try to get, because I don't want to even think about it, and there's always a hope in there that Trump was on top of that and prevented that from happening in some way, but I don't know how he could do it. I don't know how he could do it. it was just too much. There was just too much against him here. He's just too big of a battle here. He was just trying to save the American economy, because if that went down, it would be 200 million to a billion or whatever it is, and it would involve a lot of us too. So, he had to try to save our economy from this BS, which he did in a way, but but we'll get out to the other side in one piece. But there's a lot of people who died from that because of Bill Gates and because of Home Depot and because of their little kabuki theater BS. Same with all the nurses, all the doctors who claim they saw COVID deaths. You guys could go suck a DICK the size of the Empire State Building, because you're professionals and you know better than to lie about that stuff. You freaking nurses. Oh, all the COVID deaths. There were none. Okay. Oh, shit. This isn't going to be. They're not going to allow this, but whatever. 3 hours. Okay, I'm done. So they're going down. They're going to be okay, but they are pharmaceutical swamp, and I hope they tank because of that. But maybe they've learned since then. But screw them. Home Depot can go suck it now that I'm thinking about it. So I am gonna put them down. Suck them. I was gonna give them this one, but I actually hope they do this, and I hope they get off the Dow because of what I saw and what they did, and because they got a bunch of pharmaceutical money for doing it. Pieces of garbage. So they're gonna, at the end of 2024, Home Depot is gonna be at 250, and I hope they go bankrupt. That's it. But they'll probably stay on the Dow. I think they should be taken off the Dow. And I think they're going to go, I think they should go out of business. And I hope they get their arses sued off by the swamp. Actually, the swamp is going to run the swamp is actually going to run a lot of these lawsuits and get money out of these lawsuits too. Because what the swamp people are going to do is they're going to say, oh, I definitely gave money to Home Depot executives to do this. And so they're going to be sued under RICO. And the people who are going to get all the money are the swamp people, because they're the people who are going to be the people in these companies that are going to be the whistleblowers, and they're going to get fired. Oh, big deal. They're going to end up getting millions of dollars for being the whistleblowers who said they collected money from the pharmaceutical swamp to do this. And then Home Depot, the company, the good part, is going to lose all their money from this. So this is how the swamp does it. They have you going and they have you coming and going. So the swamp isn't done doing that, especially the defense contractor swamp. But when all the lawsuits start hitting, that's why I'm not trusting a lot of this stuff. A lot of them are swampy, but hopefully Home Depot, maybe I am hoping that the good people there, but there were one or two people there who did this at the Home Depot. It just took one manager who's getting money for this, by the way. There's just one manager at the Home Depot there, but there was somebody above him, another gay person, who allowed it and who allowed this stuff to go on. And it's too bad that it's 2 or 3 people that's going to do this, but that's the way it works, and I'm just kind of ticked off. So screw you, Home Depot. I'm just got suddenly pissed off remembering all this. I was going to give you a better... that's if you're lucky, and that's if you don't go completely out of business from lawsuits. Pieces of garbage. I'm sorry, it's not all Home Depot. I'm sure there's a lot of guys. I almost worked for them, actually. I tried to. But I'm just kind of ticked off right now all of a sudden, so... Anyway, screw you. I'm just like, I try to be nice, but it's like you can't, I don't know. So a lot of times it's my subconscious doing that too. Like I was going to give them a break and my subconscious just came in spades and said, do not, because they might be a lot lower than that. So subconsciously, Goldman Sachs, like totally, like in the news, like look, they're swampy as far as defense contractor, they're swampy as far as pharmaceutical and defense contractor, and I'm just like, screw you, you guys are tanking too. And also you read about all this stuff, like all this Clinton stuff with her Goldman Sachs, they just seem like the swampiest of all. They seem like the swampiest of all, and it's because they are, and I'm just tired. You're going out of business. I hope you do, you freaking pieces of garbage. They will be at the end of 2020, at the end of 2024, and this is according to graphs too. They're very swampy. They do they're defense contractor and pharmaceutical swamp, according to the graph, and therefore they're going to tank, and they'll probably go out of business, and they should, because they are just the swampiest of all the financial stocks. And a lot of it has to do with the high price of their stock, but they're just swamp. So they're going to be either out of business or, unfortunately, not too low. They're going to be below 100, 99. They're going to break through 100 by the end of 2024, and then eventually go out of business if they haven't spun off. Buy pieces of garbage. Go give all your money to the Hillary Clinton fund or whatever that was. That's what they did. Hillary Clinton would get billions from them or whatever it is. And they hated Trump. So go, and you can see why. Oh, don't do Citizens United because then we can't get money from Goldman Sachs. I'm just like Hillary. Oh God. And of course the swamps pick a woman so that if she loses, it's always, oh, it's because she's a woman. No, it's because she's a freaking swamp hole. And so is Bill Clinton, who's from the tobacco swamp with his little cigar drama, whatever that was. So we have tobacco swamp Clinton, Bill, and pharmaceutical swamp Hillary. And this is what you want in the White House in 2016? Seriously? Now, a lot of people, like my boo, liked her. Like, it's people in the know that I'm yelling at. If you, and I would have supported Hillary if I hadn't been through all this because I wanted a woman in office. In fact, I said that. I said I would support a woman in office no matter what, just because the same thing with, I voted for Obama actually twice, because I wanted women on the Supreme Court, even though it has to get there this way. We have to go through this, and we are going to have a woman president eventually, but not over Trump. For some reason, Trump was the only person. And even then, remember, I said I was driving my truck, down Highway 99 in California, Northern California, going to Fresno or something. I didn't even watch the election. That's how much I didn't care. Like I didn't care. Like I liked what Trump was saying. It would have been okay if Clinton came in. So even I was okay. Now in hindsight, I'm mad at this. And this is like, I'm being a Monday morning quarterback when I criticize people for supporting Clinton back then. Now I criticize them now, today, if they're still like bashing Trump and supporting Clinton. I'm sorry. Don't do that. It's just, I mean, if you do it now, you deserve what you get. You're going to deserve what you get because you're recorded, and it's just, people are not going to be very nice to you because by now you should know a lot better. You should really know a lot better. Oh, one of the things is the swamp people leave Easter eggs, and when I was doing the hers was the worst voter fraud election in history was 2016. Trump won anyway, but it's just like my boo Kelly. When she won American Idol, it was the worst rigging against her. And like, it was like so much rigging for Gorini from all the gay guys who didn't want a woman in there. But she won anyway. And that's why they're both like me, because I had like you have to have that. Like, I have something special because all the swamp stuff was going against me with a rigged jury twice. Like once against Pfizer, it was rigged against me and I won anyway, and I won big. Anyway, even with the rigging for like years, I had that whole lawsuit and I won. And then of course the pharmaceutical swamp owned California justice system immediately killed all that. Like I won $200,000 and 12 out of 12 jurors, and it was so obvious when you look at the actual data and the real jurors, except for one that was a swamp. And it didn't work. All the swamp stuff didn't work. We still overwhelmingly won. The evidence was so overwhelming that I won big. And then again, when I had a criminal case against me, they did all this rigging of the jury, and I have evidence of that against me, and I won big anyway. Like they were going to send me to prison for 5 years, and I took it to jury anyway, and the jury decided in 5 minutes. And when I talked to the jury afterwards, they said, I can't believe what we saw. Like it was the biggest circus of a freaking, like it was the best friend of the judge that I was accused of, the family court judge I was accused of threatening. Her best friend is the judge in charge of this case. They put me in shackles and moved me over to a completely different courthouse, the civil courthouse, to have this trial that they said was going to be fair. And you can't, and I was in jail for, I mean, it was just the most amazing swamp you've ever seen. And the jury saw it immediately and they wished me luck. They said, Godspeed in all your efforts in taking down the family court system. All the jurors, except the one swamp person who was planted there, this Asian woman, and was planted there by the judge. And I saw it ahead of time. I said, that's not fair. And then she was saying, no, guilty. And they almost murdered her in 5 minutes. It's like, you're going to switch or we're going to have a fit. They were telling me this. Talk to the jury afterwards. The same with the jury in the Pfizer case. They said, we were going to give you millions of dollars, but the judge didn't allow for punitive damages, which is absolutely, I went to law school after this, and that's why I'm really like, I'm looking at this, because I went to school after all this stuff, and I looked at what happened, and it's even worse. Like during it, I'm going, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And then I go to law school, and I said, what the hell? Like that was It was so bad and so swampy, both those lawsuits. And then since then, they came and got me, and they did the same with Trump, and they did the same with Kelly in a way. It's like once you win the first one, but the second one they were prepared. So like they were prepared for the rest of her career. And then same with Trump, like the second election, and with me, my other trials, they came and got me really big time. Or the second and third one, it's like, no, we're not letting you get away this time. They they super rigged it. And it was the same with the 216, 220 was super rigged, but not as rigged as 216. And the way you could tell is from the Electoral College, which was created by the framers to prevent election corruption. And when you say, now they said, oh, this is what cracks me up. Oh, Hillary won the popular vote, but she didn't win the Electoral College, so we should get rid of the Electoral College. What? I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Come on. I'm not talking to you normal people out there. I'm talking to people in journalism mostly, and people who are educated. The whole purpose of the Electoral College was to prevent corruption, meaning the real winner wins even when the popular vote, and even when the corrupt person gets the popular vote, which was given to her by 3 different states. Like if you count, like I went through the whole thing and I showed the corruption. It was like LA, it was like 4 different states gave her 4 different cities, 4 different little cities gave her the popular vote. And at the end, when she was looking like she was losing too, and it was right here in LA, it was like she's losing, and all of a sudden, all these fake votes came in and gave her the popular vote. And they gave her the popular vote by when you 86 somebody, and this is official. You can go to the official site and calculate from like the federal the Federal Elections Commissions. They have it all, and it's all in PDF files, and I have copies of all of them, and calculate the exact number of popular votes she supposedly beat Trump by. And it's 286, 86, 86. 86th, 3 times. That is a completely made up Easter egg by the swamp people. I mean, what are the chances that the exact number is going to be 286, 86, 86? And I used to get these trailers, and one time I explained this on Twitter. I got a trailer that was called 86, 86, 86. And I said, oh, this is the swamp people. This is the dead people telling me to tell you this story of the 86, 86, 86. And I put it all out there on Twitter. I said, this is total swamp. So she did not win by 2,868,068, whatever. She did not win by that much. That's the official count, according to the official federal elections. It's just a completely made up number pulled out of somebody's butt. Pulled out, and it's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg. The swamp people, they do this all the time. They'll plant little Easter eggs, and I'm supposed to look paranoid for saying this, whatever. I'm not paranoid. It was the most fraudulent election that the Electoral College prevented. Okay? This is the whole purpose of and I showed all the other Electoral College. I have a whole history of it. I don't know where I published this on Twitter. I mean, I did a whole thing just like this. Like I went through all the data and went weeks and months and whatever, and then I published all the data showing this. God, I have to get that up here somewhere. Where did I published it on Twitter, but I don't think I have that on a website either. Once Twitter came down, that came down too. But it was like, where's the evidence of election fraud? I said, okay, you ask for it and you shall receive. And I showed all the evidence. And I worked a long ass time. I think I worked 6 months nonstop on this stuff, looking at graphs and looking at all the, oh God, that was tough too. But I figured that out, and I showed the evidence of it. And that was just that wasn't like, oh, it was 286, 86, 86, therefore it was fraudulent. That was like I finished it all, said it was fraudulent, and then I looked at the number again and I said, what? That was just a sidebar, like right now, just a sidebar of it all. Like at the end, I said it was fraudulent, here's the evidence, and then I just really quickly saw what the number was. And I couldn't see it because it's not 286, 86, 86, it's like 2, 86, 8, and you can't see it that clearly because of the commas. But when I saw that trailer, I said, why does it look so familiar? And it's 86th. Like she was 86th 3 times, or she was trying to 86 Trump 3 times, or that was the purpose of it. It's like 86th Trump, but 86 is key for like, what is that? You're canceled or something like that. Like we're going to cancel Trump. This is what we're going to do. We're going to cancel, which they did. They 86'd him 3 times with that popular vote, because ever since then, they tried to delegitimize his entire presidency by saying he didn't get the popular vote. And they were trying to 86 the actual, maybe that was their sign that says, okay, we're going to 86 the Electoral College, which is what they've been trying since then too. So Hillary comes in, and here's her, if I become president in 2020, I'm going to take down Citizens United so that Goldman Sachs could keep doing their swamp stuff. And I'm going to take down the Electoral College so that we could continue having the biggest fraudulent votes in history. I mean, this was her campaign promises. Okay. Now, then I didn't care. I didn't even pay attention. So I was saying that in 2016, after the election, November 4th, whatever it was, I didn't even pay attention the next morning. I didn't watch the election. I'm in my truck. I'm asleep. I have a delivery the next day in Fresno. So I'm going down 99, and you guys know this. There's like a Clinton Avenue, not in Fresno. It's in Modesto or somewhere, one of the, before Fresno. So I'm on the 99, and I'm stopped in complete traffic. I can't move because there's huge protests on the Clinton Avenue overpass over the 99 in Modesto or somewhere around there. And we're just completely stopped. And I said, what the hell is this? And I'm looking out, and I don't know what it is, and I'm there forever. And then I find out on the news, when I look online, they say there's protest. I looked online for the first time, and I said, oh, Trump won. I was really kind of shocked. I didn't think he was going to win. But it was kind of like I was really happy that he won because I preferred him. I just had a sense. I did prefer him, and I did vote for him, by the way. I voted for Trump, actually. So I voted for him, but it wasn't like it's the end of the world if he loses, and I was prepared for it. But when he won, I said, oh, isn't that nice? And I didn't realize at the time that was a huge deal. Like, it was a huge deal toward world peace, was that Trump won. Like, it was like, I could, like, now looking back on it, I can't believe I was so nonchalant about it. But anyway, so I'm just saying, even now, I didn't, even then in 2020, I didn't know, I could have just as easily voted for Clinton. It was so close. It was like, I want a woman in there. I really do. Like, I really believe in that. Like, I just, I want my daughter to see a woman president. It's so important. And I believe in that. And all you people who didn't see, even with my experience and all my swamp stuff, I didn't see it then. So I don't blame you for supporting her. But for now I'm kind of doing it. I'm kind of pissed off because it's, in 2020, what are we? Oh, it's only 2 years later, though. Is it? 2020? Yeah, it's only 2 years later. So why am I so pissed off? It takes a while. I'm sorry, people. So, boo, I really got, all I'm trying to do when I talk to Kelly a lot of times is like, okay, if you're going to have Clinton on, and she hasn't done it since. Like, she doesn't bash Trump. Just don't bash Trump. And she doesn't. Like, she'll have a lot of stuff on her show, and it seems to be supporting Clinton and women's issues, but she doesn't bash Trump. She's the only talk show host who doesn't bash Trump. So at least she's got that going for her. So that's good. But anyway, Goldman Sachs. Anyway, I wanted to say Goldman Sachs, they're big Clinton supporters, and they're going down, and they're going to go out of business. 90. They're going to be 90 at the end of 2024. So that's my Goldman Sachs rant. Okay, bye Goldman Sachs. Bye. Who's next? Next is United Health. So these guys are very manipulated because United Health is the most pricey stock. And whenever you see, like yesterday, or whenever there's a big stock manipulation, you could definitely count that United Health is a big part of it, because you can't manipulate the stock without United Health going down or going up. Oh God, I'm ugly. By the way, I'm going to end it on United Health Group, and then I'm going to upload it and go eat breakfast and chillax, and then tonight I'll continue it with tonight I have to go back. I'm working tomorrow. Oh my God, this is taking forever, isn't it, to get to the Media Swamp Stocks? It's called Media Swamp Stock. It's called the Media Swamp Stocks tutorial. It started everything, but it's taking me forever to tell you what the prices of these, to tell you what's going to happen to their stocks, isn't it? Well, anyway, it's a tease. This is all a tease. This is what we do. This is what we do in advertising, right? You take the big thing that everybody's going to wait for, and you put all this other crap in between there. So, okay, so wait for it. Anyway, United Health, you're up. You're last, because I'm done. I'm done talking. So United Health, healthcare, they were funny in September. They didn't. I don't know what the hell to do with these guys. sometimes I get the feeling it could be a Trump stock because they're based in Minnesota too. Minnetonka, but 3M is based there too. And that's very swampy. 3M is based in Minnesota and they are tanking for sure. And they're kind of like really almost too perfect. When you look at their 5-year, it's like this almost so perfect. Like you could really predict what they're going to do until now. And now it seems to be breaking down a little bit. But it could be a good stock. Okay, just make a decision on this one. I can't decide what to do with United Health. So I'm going to say they're showing some kind of really, like when the 2020 broke down below the swamp behavior, like 2018. So they slowed down, but not until like years, like early on. They took a little bit of a blip, and then January they started to dip. I can't tell you guys. I don't know what to do with these guys. I really don't. I think it's a good company, even though it's a healthcare company. It's healthcare insurance, multinational, and I think it could be a Trump thing. I think it's like Trump likes this company for some reason, maybe. And it's like, this is what's, out of all the healthcare, maybe, because they're doing really well, though. I mean, they did really well throughout all this stuff. So maybe, but I think he's going to work with them to get us through the other side once the healthcare industry kind of tanks. So what I'm going to say with these guys, just to end it, I don't know. Minnesota, it just seems like there's something. I've always said since the beginning of time that there's something funny about Minnesota. And I was saying this during 9/11 when I was doing that stuff way back when, decades ago or a decade ago. I said it's called Minnesota Funny Business. It's on my Twitter. It's on my Twitter from way back when. I would call it Minnesota Funny Business. And it's just, there's just funny stuff going on there. And I can't tell if it's the good guys or the bad guys or what. Minnesota Funny Business. Okay, it's just Minnesota Funny Business. I always got a bad, when I was in Minnesota once, I said, I want to get out of here. I don't know why. It's not bad, it's not good. But since then, I've been to Minnesota. Actually, I worked there all summer for Stryker, and I didn't feel bad about it. I felt better about it then. And it's also a swing state. And they supported Trump, and then they didn't, and then they did. It's like okay, so I'm saying yes. I'm saying go Minnesota. I'm saying they're overpriced now, and that's their real value. In 2020, it was they're overpriced, but they're good. They're like overpriced, but they're good. So this is what I'm going to do with Minnesota swamp stocks. Or not, it's not Minnesota swamp stock. I'm going to say United Healthcare has been riding high a little bit too much. And when the healthcare crashes, they're going to crash, but then they're going to do okay when Trump comes back. And the reason they're so high right now is because and they're going to crash, and when they crash, it's going to make this is what's going to make. Remember when I said the stock market? Did I do the stock market first? It's going to be, I think I did the stock market first, the Dow. Oh, and there goes the street sweeper on the other side. Oh, low battery. I just got a low battery. Oh my God. Okay, so this is it. This is why we're ending this, because I have a low battery and the street sweeper just came by. It's really late. All right, so this is it. This is it. It's saying end it. End it, and you got it right, is what it's saying. So I got it right. The dead people told me I got it right. So I have a minute or two. United Healthcare is deciding, and this is the number one reason the Dow is going to tank too, is United Healthcare is going to tank. But only down, it's going to be just like for Trump. They're only going to go down to 400-ish, around there, and then they're going to take off when Trump is in office. So by the end of 2024, United Health Group Inc. is going to be at 400. They're going to tank. But it's, for long term, and they might keep going up too, so watch out. When I say that, I'm saying I'm saying if you want to risk the shorting, I'm telling you, and the tanking and everything, go ahead. But I'm saying long term, keep them on the Dow. They're going to be doing great, especially when Trump comes in. So they're going down to 2024. They need to be sold to buy all sorts of stuff. I mean, they need to be sold by Vanguard Group. Vanguard Group owns all these, to buy all those other stocks and save them all, and whatever it is, they're just in trouble. So this is going to be the last bleeding, Because once they sell all that, real people are going to buy up. And then by the end of 2024, Vanguard Group is going to have to sell so much good stuff that they're not going to be in charge of much once Trump comes in. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Bye. Okay, I think that's it. All right, buddy, everybody, we're done. I think that's a Dow. And the next, and I don't have a choice. My battery is out now, so I have to go to Starbucks. I'm going to eat. I'm going to relax, and then we're going to do part 5. So everything's going to be okay. Living my best life. It's just amazing. I'm going to be so right on so many of these stocks. I'm going to beat everybody. I'm sure of it. Like, I'm going to be really wrong on some of it, but go at your own risk. You see where I'm getting my data. I'm going to do a file that just summarized everything in one file and probably post it. I'll film it. I'll film the file and where it is when I do part 5, which is going to be the media swamp stocks. And I'm going to talk and do whatever. Okay, so this is a big one, but it's very important. My fortune cookies all last week were saying your best work is yet to come. And I said, okay, so this might be it. My best work. Oh my God. Oh, I thought my phone died too. By the way, what I'm doing is I have a laptop, which I charge, but I also have a phone that's charged that's giving me the hotspot for being online. I'm not online at Starbucks. I'm not parked near Starbucks. I don't like parking there. But I do get my Wi-Fi when I'm at Starbucks. Okay, living my best life. Everything. Oh my God! And the karaoke came up like 3 hours ago. Oh, I gotta go look at that too. But living my best life. Everything's gonna be okay. Everybody, hang in there. And Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side in one piece. PEACA. Bye. Everything's going great. Where are we? Bye, everybody.